Hello, I'm Anti-Derivative Jill, and this is Indefinite Lunch and Infinite Combinations number 43. Today, we're reviewing the next original series episode in production order, which is Arena.
Absolutely smashing.
Sorry, I wanted a little Trelane.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you.
Hello. Hey, Pop Culture Curator and Scotty R37 are here to help me review Arena. I'm beyond excited to talk about this episode. It has everything. How are you guys doing today?
I am doing great. How are you?
Doing very well. I'm very excited to see people in the chat here. Snortopoopas, Cuber, Pleasant Valley Picker, CA, and Cardinal Sin. And congratulations goes out to Cardinal Sin. I don't know if he wants to say what he's got. He does. Great news. My monetization appeal was approved. I'm a big boy now.
I'm a big kid now.
Mommy, wow. He's big now. Yeah, no, he's monetized. So congratulations, Cardinal Sin.
Congrats.
And Gorilla's Random Thoughts is here, looking like, oh look, another godlike alien. Yeah, there's well, at least this one's not a petulant child this time.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have. Oh, and Cardinal Sin said, I met the guy that played the Goron at a convention. He was really cool. So that was, well, there was 4 people in the soup, but I think he means William. What's his name? William something.
I don't know. I can pull it up.
Mm-hmm.
We
Pull
will
it
be
up.
covering that.
Well, yeah, we got to know what we're talking about here. And
Right,
Snortopoopas asks, so he was really cold-blooded? Yes. Spock scans the planet and finds cold-blooded creatures, so those would be the Gorn. Oh, but the guy who played him, probably not.
Hey, it was O'Hurley. Remember I was asking if it was O'Hurley last night?
The one who got vaporized?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the red shirt.
Bill Blackburn was uncredited as the Gorn. Ted Cassidy as the voice was also uncredited. Then we have Bobby Clark,
right?
Yeah, and Gary Coombs.
Mm-hmm. Gary Coombs.
Right. One of them was for close-ups only.
Oh, the one for close-ups only. Say the names again.
Sure. Bill Blackburn, Bobby Clark, and Gary Combs. Now, Gary Combs, aside from Ted Cassidy, who did the voice, Gary Combs is the only one with an IMDb profile picture.
Oh, Bill Blackburn. I think that's the one for the close-ups.
I think so, possible.
And PvP says this is a favorite for him.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And no, they're just a snobbish asshole, says Gorilla. Oh, well, we don't see him for too long. Well, yeah, I guess they do cause some things to happen. But, PvP says I'd be oh, yes, of course. In a little while. I need to get things rolling first, PvP, and then we'll see. The guy that was in that suit. That's great.
Nice.
And hello to JD Lewis.
Ahoy.
JD Lewis is here.
Hola,
William Blackburn. Yes, William Blackburn is the one that you would meet at the conventions. Maybe Bobby Clark might do it too. I don't know. I don't know how many of these guys who are in the Goron costumes actually go to conventions.
Well, if Cardinal Sin met one.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they used 2 different costumes for the actual shooting, and apparently the rubber was very thick, so it was not easy to move. So that's another reason why they moved the way they did.
Yeah.
I know some people think it's like sort of hokey and janky, but I always thought that they had some like a different gravity on the Gorn homeworld.
That's a good thought. There's a reason. There's got to be a reason for why they're slow.
Mm-hmm.
And who's to say? Definitely, their physiology must be different from humans. So why can't they behave differently? And hello to Hex Allen Comics.
Hey, Hex Allen.
Hail to the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Ahoy, chat. And then there is going to be another, I think it's Mr. DeSalle or DePaul. DePaul. Mr. DePaul is going to be an interesting cameo, and we'll see if you can spot who that guy played before.
Yep, right. Except now he looks better.
He does. Less of a dermatological issue.
Oh, it's flashing. Why is
It
that?
is
Yay.
flashing.
Okay, wait, there it goes.
CGI planet.
CGI planet. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, apparently in the original, without the special, because we all know they remastered the effects.
Mhm.
But in the original, I guess they used the same globe that they had used as Earth, except they just reversed it and put a green tint on it.
Okay. See, it's funny because I tried to watch this episode with the original special effects on Christmas Eve. I did end up watching it on Christmas Eve, but I tried watching it with the originals because I was at my parents' place and they have the Blu-rays, and I was like, nope. I had to go back to the remastered.
Interesting. What made you decide that?
Well, I'd seen all of the original episodes with the original special effects, but I haven't seen all of the original series with the remastered effects. So this is also kind of new stuff for me every time. And so when I started watching it, I was like, meh, I don't think I've watched this one remastered. And there is a moment at the end where I was like, wait, that's new. And so that was the decision, not to poo-poo on the original effects, just because I hadn't seen these ones.
No, that's fine. When we get to that scene, point it out for us.
Will do.
Yeah, that's really great. You know the difference between the two. I didn't look up what you did find, but we'll get there.
I have one that I'll be pointing out, but it's at the beginning of the episode.
And hello to Stuart Mitchell.
Hey, Stu.
Hail, Stuart.
And both Admiral Teague and Pleasant Valley Pickers say the reason they're slow is because they're cold-blooded.
Possibly.
Hello, Admiral Teague.
He thinks originals are better.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yes, I'm not going to argue that.
For reference to
No, please continue.
I'll just mention the book that I read from is Star Trek 365 by Paula M. Block and Terry J. Erdman. And of course, the idea to use this particular text comes from our friend Raquel Briggs, who's featured on the Clyburn Times channel. So you all need to subscribe. Ring the bell for Clyburn Times if you haven't already, and also read Raquel's amazing science fiction short stories. Available in paperback, hardback, and Kindle on Amazon.
Absolutely.
And so this episode first aired on January 19th, 1967. The original story comes from a science fiction tale post in a magazine, or at least it was written very similar to a story by Frederick Brown, who wrote a story called Arena, which Gene L. Kuhn had written, and he didn't realize that he since he reads a lot of science fiction, he didn't realize he was copying a story that he had read before. So after having written the script and everything, then they asked for permission to use the story when someone realized that it was just like Frederick Brown's story.
It is fascinating.
Right. Script reviewer.
Yeah,
well,
script review.
Yeah. Well, and I think even in terms of Star Trek adjacent writers, they had ended up having to give James Cameron's The Terminator a special thanks to Harlan Ellison, because there was enough cause to say that James Cameron had lifted from the Outer Limits episode
Demon with a Glass Hand.
Oh, Demon with a Glass Hand. Yes. And so, yeah, it's nice to see that Gene, recognized that he had, paraphrased the original art.
Well, it was also a matter of them not getting sued.
Yeah. Oh, of course. And James Cameron famously did.
So. Definitely. And he was unaware that he was accidentally rehashing a story he'd read before. But yes, to avoid the plagiarism, they offered to buy the rights for the story.
I'm looking at it. Are you sure he read it before? I thought I heard that he had not ever read it.
Well, he maybe didn't read it, but just he knew so much science fiction, he accidentally wrote a story that was exactly like it.
Yeah. Apparently, according to Inside Star Trek, apparently they were running out of ideas for scripts, and he went home on a Friday and said he'd come up with something, and he came back on Monday with the script in hand, and that's when the script reviewer, I guess, spotted it from being published in um, Amazing Stories comic book or magazine or years before.
Mm-hmm.
And according to IMDb, it says, although it was not intentional, Desilu's research department realized that Gene L. Kuhn's screenplay strongly resembled a novella of the same name by Frederick Brown, and to deal with the difficulty, Brown was telephoned about the matter, and he agreed to a writer's fee and an official credit for the story.
And it's funny that you mentioned the Outer Limits, because it also says here that the plot is also similar to an Outer Limits episode called Fun and Games, in which advanced aliens known as Andorans electrode teleport humans and other intelligent beings to do battle on the moon, known as an arena.
Wow.
Well, not only that though, but the guy who voiced it, the opening narration of the Outer Limits, we are in control of your television set. We control the vertical. We control the horizontal. Also did the voice of the Metrons.
Oh, wow, cool.
Right, so when they're on the bridge and it says, we are the Metrons, that's the same guy who did the voice.
Mm-hmm. Great.
So we gather in the transporter room, and it looks like it's just going to be an easy peasy lemon squeezy. Beam down to Cestus 3 and have a buffet.
Yeah, I love this episode so much from the beginning to the end, and there's a reason why it's a favorite among many Star Trek fans, because it defines in multiple facets what the series as a whole means to me.
And these transporter sequences were filmed last.
Oh, they were?
Yes.
I guess I'll put that at the end. So we start in the orbit of Cestus 3. McCoy hopes to find a good non-reconstituted meal here, and this is one of the first times we hear about, well, not the first time we hear about food, but maybe non-reconstituted food.
Yeah.
Tubes.
Which you do find out a little bit more about in Enterprise, specifically what he's referring to, thanks to Trip.
And so then 6 men, including one red shirt.
O'Hurley!
Yeah. Right in the back there. Get on the transporter, go down to the planet. But however, no one's there waiting for them. The planet is all cinder, smoke, and fire, and that brings up the first question: why sensors didn't pick up on this destruction. And we get an amazing matte painting of all of that.
Yeah, now, okay, right there, on this shot right here.
Yes.
This is thanks to the remastered special effects. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay.
I am.
Can I show a clip from the original?
Yes,
Please do.
A scene. Okay, I'm going to share. And then you'll see what the original title card, which is basically this shot right here, what it looked like.
Hey, Herc.
Yes, hello to Herc 130. And Cardinal Sin says Harlan Ellison's stories from the Outer Limits that Cameron admitted he ripped off were called Demon with a Glass Hand and Soldier.
Yes, yes.
And that's what the original title card looked like. You guys notice the difference?
Yes, this one looks like ass.
Rude.
In the background on the hills, there were houses. So they just put a strip of black aluminum foil here over the top part of the camera.
Exactly. And it shows.
And it shows, right, very clear. So in the shot that Jill is showing with the remastered effects, obviously they use the CGI to cover up the houses. Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome. Wonderful. Stuart Mitchell says filmed at the Vasquez Rocks, north of Los Angeles, also where Bill and Ted met the Grim Reaper. Yeah, in the sequel to Bill and Ted.
Bogus Journey. And I wanted to point out too that one thing that always boggled my mind as a kid was, how did they afford to set Star Trek? This is a massive set, and Star Trek rarely ever had that kind of money. So apparently, This was used in several series, and this was a long-standing set for some time. So it was used in the Wild Wild West, also Mission Impossible, Bonanza, and several other shows and movies at the time. And it was right next to the rocks. So if you're looking at this set right here, if you would pan left, you would see Vasquez Rocks right to
Oh,
the
wow.
left of it.
This thing has the time tunnel written all over it.
Used for many shows.
Yeah.
I mean, even back to the movie Beau Jest, 1939.
Oh, okay, great. So
My
this
dad
set is
loves
used a
Beau
bunch.
Jest. That's a name that I did not think I was.
It was
going to hear
erected at a
today.
cost of $117,843.17. It is now a parking lot. I'll be posting my videos of Vasquez Rocks here shortly, and you'll see
Oh,
the
nice.
area. It's all flat now. Obviously, they tore all those walls down, but that was one thing that was I always wondered is like, how did they come up with this huge, massive set for one small scene in Star Trek? And then apparently, it has a big history behind it.
Very neat. So Pleasant Valley Picker says, for example, the end of the Doomsday Machine is much better as the CGI is better than the model used in the original.
Cheap. I wouldn't say cheap, but model.
The cheap. Rob Altus said, hello, Jill and panel. Hail, chat.
Ahoy.
One of my
Hello
favorite
there, Rob.
episodes. Mine too. It very often gets in the top 5 at least whenever I talk about Star Trek. Gorilla's Random Thought says, so that's how I can get away with stealing someone's story. Just say I never read it and didn't realize it. Well,
yeah, unfortunately, that won't work.
Well, then you have to call them up and give them a writer's credit
when
and a fee.
When you're such a big reader, you don't always know. You don't always realize what you're doing because you read so much.
That's why
everything gets all mixed up.
That's why exactly why the studios review the scripts for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And Admiral Teak said, once upon a time, they paid for rights. Now Star Trek steals from video games.
It steals from a lot more than just that.
Well, see, that's, yeah. Well, we're not talking about that. But justice for Nasabdin. And they wasted it shooting frickin' Picard there. Oh, no, they did. Oh, no, really? Okay, I don't want to know.
Yeah, that's where Raffi's trailer is.
My God.
Yeah, Raffi lives in a trailer, everybody.
And does drugs.
In the future utopia of Earth, this is the case.
Yeah. And in fact, if I were in the 25th century, I would probably live at a trailer at Vasquez Rocks and do drugs. But that's a different story altogether. I'd be happy with my replicator. I wouldn't be sad.
Yeah, you wouldn't be blaming people for your life.
Exactly.
You'd be reveling in the joy.
You know what the best part about having a trailer at Vasquez Rocks is? Is that there's a holodeck on the trailer. I can go anywhere.
Pleasant Valley Picker says, oh, okay. More about the CGI. And Cardinal Sin says, he feels you. He feels you on that CGI.
I still admire, again, it does look cheap by today's standards, but these were expensive episodes when they were first produced, and it was supposed to, like, what was it? What's the name of the ship from the Doomsday Machine? The other Commodore Decker's ship.
Commodore Decker's ship wasn't the Constitution, was it?
Was it the Constitution? Anyway, the other one. And yeah, no, but that was just a busted kit that they literally bought off the shelf, and it was supposed to look decrepit. And so I still give a lot of credit to it. It does look cheap, but it's also supposed to look like it's all janky, and all the Enterprise stuff looks great. And so the dichotomy between those two ships being the same class.
And Snortopoopas confirms this Constellation.
Thank you, Snortopoopas.
Thank you.
Cool.
You guys are the bomb.
And Herc 130 just got back from Tex-Mex, and he had enchiladas and tacos. That's great. He had a non-reconstituted meal.
Yay!
Snortopoopas says, and for some reason they don't bother doing any routine sensor scans for Morbid, and don't realize the base has been destroyed until they beam down. And so I have a little guess for how that works, because in a little while we'll see that they sabotaged Spock's tricorder to explode, which is sort of, you can call a smaller sensor device. So maybe the Gorn were able to somehow manipulate Enterprise sensors to get false readings, or some kind of screening or something on the planet to make it seem like it was different. I don't know. I just speculated on that.
Well, first things first, it's
Awesome.
pronounced sabotage.
Oh, right. That's how Kirk pronounces it
I
on the
always thought,
animated series.
I thought they said something about that, like there was sensor reflections or false reflections.
Oh, do they say that in the episode? I thought I was just making this up.
Perhaps. Yeah.
Oh, maybe. I'll have to look through the script later. And Pleasant Valley Picker says the Ellison episodes were some of the best Outer Limits episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Teague says, pretty sure the guy who beamed down, who buys it on Cestus 3 is Pike in the Chair actor. Incorrect, but
nope.
I like where your head's at. That was O'Hurley. He
right.
was a ginger in a red shirt.
The guy who was Pike is actually at the helm.
Navigation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And Vasquez Rocks were on an NCIS episode.
Yep.
I wonder, was it a NCIS episode that had Scott Bakula by chance?
That'd be
Probably
cool.
not.
Probably not.
Rob says he's an hour from Vasquez Rocks. Rob, have you been there before?
Sweet.
I mean, how could you not be there before if you're a Star Trek fan and you live an hour away from it? I live several hours away from it, and I've still been there several times.
Nice.
Yeah, when I went to the Star Trek convention, some people went out to the Rocks, and I wish I would have gone with them.
Oh, you were in LA for that?
No, I was in Las Vegas, and they went all the way to LA while at the convention to do that.
Down
by the river.
Need a van down by the river.
Yeah, van.
And Snortapoopa says, I guess I'll never get my story about a miser who learns the meaning of Christmas after being visited by ghosts published then.
Change it to zombies, and maybe you'll have a chance.
And Gorilla wonders what's wrong with Space Weed.
I have a title for that story. You should call it Timmy's Okay.
Mm-hmm. And
that's what I would call
Cardinal
that
Sin
miser
tells
story.
Oh.
I'm just workshopping.
Yeah.
Anyway, Cardinal Sin says.
Yeah. He tells us about Ellison stories on they named the cop assigned to their case Ellison in the TV series Terminator, the Sarah O'Connor Chronicles, which was INHO, in my honest opinion, the best of any Terminator IP. Great show.
I agree, Cardinal Sin.
I think it was Yorktown. No, it wasn't. It was Constellation.
No, we're pretty good with the Constellation being the correct answer. Survey says.
Yeah,
we have crowdsourced it.
Yeah, that seems to be general consensus.
PvP says painted and torched in places.
Oh, this was a whole thing he had here.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and this is true. The Doomsday Machine model in the end looked poor. Yeah, because what was great, that was actually nice because Star Trek came out, AMT started making models based on the ships from Star Trek, and then the production company of Star Trek went and bought some of those models to use for various episodes. So I thought that was cool. Same thing with the Galileo.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and it wasn't uncommon even by the time you get to the Next Generation, because hell, the Borg cube was just a kit bashed cube, and the Battle of Wolf 359. Oh my stars. Gorilla says, Dame Canadians always changing the pronunciation of words. That's our job.
Is that true? Is that what you guys do?
That's what it's all about.
The drooping nacelles of the AMT model were perfect for the Constellation damaged look, says Rob Altus.
Yes. They just had to burn them kind of.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Okay.
Sorry.
Cardinal Sin says, oh, wait, now go back. People think anti-derivative Jill is just a sweet young thing, but she's pretty worldly, it sounds like. Her eyes have seen things that you couldn't believe.
Attack ships on the shoulder of Orion.
Oh, that's why we're friends.
Herc130 says, when I was based at Edwards AFB, I went
Air
out
Force
to
Base.
Vasquez Air Force Base. I went out to Vasquez Rocks a few times.
Nice.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
There's an episode of Friends where Joey drives out from New York to Los Angeles to be on a film set, and he arrives. It's a finale, a season finale, and he arrives at Vasquez Rocks. And so I always remember that as being the one weird place, and I never figured I would see Vasquez Rocks is in an episode of Friends. Anyway, there's O'Hurley.
Yeah, those rocks show up all over the place.
He's my
O'Hurley.
MVP of the episode.
Yeah, he's right there. And
Yep.
then the one in the yellow shirt is Lang. And then the man in the blue shirt back here is
Kellowitz, yes.
And O'Hurley, he's right here.
Ahoy, Mr. Brown.
Hello to Mr. Brown. Happy New Year. Mm-hmm.
Hello, Mr. Brown.
Anyway, so
Spock realizes that the messages received to this planet were fake, and this is a trap. And we really do see that the Gorn, that's part of their strategy. They like to make traps. And we get our captain's log. Stardate 3045.6. The Enterprise has responded to a call from Earth Observation Outpost on Cestus 3. On landing, we've discovered the outpost had been destroyed, and they find one man who survived, but he won't last too long. 30 minutes? I don't know. Spock had found some life, but the other life he's found on this planet is not warm-blooded, it's cold-blooded. And Kirk sends O'Hurley to investigate this life.
And he doesn't make it far.
No, he doesn't.
Oh! That
I was wondering, do they explain what happens to him? Because what we hear is the sound of like incoming bomb.
Yeah.
And then the guy phases out, and then the bomb hits afterwards. So you hear like the whistling of a bomb, the guy phases out, or gets phased, and then you hear the whistling and then an explosion.
You're right. Okay, so I don't know either. He just vanishes and he doesn't reappear anywhere else in the episode. So I just assume he's gone.
What if they're shelling the facility and that there are snipers as well?
Well, they are snipers because that's what they aim for with the cannon.
Right. So
I don't know. Maybe he got one kind of weapon. Maybe they have two weapons.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Lay down, sort of throw shell the facility, and that'll make them scatter. And so then you Gorn.
Oh my God!
Gorilla's
random thoughts.
So what did Hourly do to Kirk that Kirk had him killed? O'Hurley, not Hourly.
He's probably autocorrect.
No, I understand.
But I was going to say it would have been nice if they showed a beam hit this guy. I guess it would have. I wouldn't be wondering.
Right. Well, all we hear is a whistle and an explosion, and he disappears. And
right.
Apparently, all these explosions gave William Shatner tinnitus.
Yeah, it's the scene where it was right before he does the tumble, where he's running, and you can see the bomb go off on his left.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile.
And we get lots of new things with this ship, with the ship in this episode. Starting here, we find out from Sulu that the crew cannot be beamed up because the Enterprise has its screens up, as shields.
Yep.
And the Gorn also have their screens up. And Sulu's firing phasers and bombs go.
The first time they're able to beam through shields, I guess, is Star Trek 6, right?
That's a good point.
I don't know. For some reason, I feel like that there's another time that they do that. I think they do it in the original series, but I kind of forgive them.
But very possible. Sorry, go ahead, Jill.
No. Bombs go off all around the landing team. They carry away the survivor to better cover. There's a bomb right there.
This is better cover.
And apparently,
no, this isn't better cover yet. Go ahead.
William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy both suffered from tinnitus because of this episode.
Oh, Nimoy too.
Yes.
This is the better cover over here. Life support ramp 3, level K.
Yes.
Kelowitz and Lang are ordered to fire in the direction that Spock determines the Gorn are likely to be.
Which is Vasquez rocks.
Mm-hmm. And Kirk does this zigzag.
Right. Perfect shot. It looks like he's dancing.
He is. What is action except
Doing
action choreography is a dance.
Right, doing the Kirk dance.
Yeah, and he has lots of nice little rolls everywhere. Even Spock gets in a couple of rolls.
There he is. There's Captain Pike.
Beep.
Yeah, and Sulu reports that they fired all the phaser banks but made no progress against the Gorn's shields. I mean, they don't call them the Gorn yet, but I'm just going to call them that because alien, whatever. We know who they are. And then here's another first. Kirk orders photon torpedoes armed.
Yeah.
Which is the first time for that. Then an explosion makes him run further into a bombed out crater. He orders Sulu to do everything he can to save the ship, including leaving orbit at maximum warp. And Sulu does an incredible job here of looking pensive, but agrees when Kirk says to forget about him and protect his ship.
Sir, we won't leave you behind.
Yeah, no, that's definitely what Sulu looks like he wants to say.
Right.
But he does what he's told.
And this is where I think Leonard Nimoy received his injury.
Probably, yeah. This is where Spock catches up with Kirk in the bomb crater, and there are definitely explosions going off in his
next to them.
ears.
Yes.
And
really
I guess
pyrotechnics, though.
Yeah, they are, but I guess nobody told him to wear any ear protection.
Ear protection?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like when I go to a punk rock show, and I know it might be. I mean, I don't put them in until it's too loud, but when it is too loud, like, okay, they have this up too loud. I have my earplugs.
Yes.
Is that the little foam ones?
Yeah, little foam ones. Mm-hmm. And so they have these grenade launchers. I haven't seen this before.
Yes. The phase mortar? Phase bomb mortar?
And Spock notes the enemies moving toward high ground when they hear fizzing and they see smoke. And Spock realizes they've locked onto his tricorder, so he throws it.
Intelligent little dinosaurs.
They are.
What's funny, Kirk underestimates him too when they show him later saying that maybe he'll have the upper hand over the Gorn because the guy was a lizard. But they're a spacefaring race, so they're smart, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Oh, yeah. And Spock does not underestimate him. He is throughout the episode. He is always calling out their intelligence, their cleverness, their genius. And in this case, he says, "Very ingenious. They fed back my own impulses and built up an overload."
It's a shame we didn't see more Gorn after this.
Mm-hmm. It's true. They were a great creation. And Kelowitz shows up to report that Lang is gone. So I guess Lang, we lost him somewhere off screen. I guess.
He didn't have lines anyway.
It's okay. He's gone. And we won't mention him again.
I guess not. Poor Lang and
Old Lang Syne.
Good one. Kelowitz says, "If I were them, I'd go to the high ground on the right. I'd make it 1,200 yards. Azimuth. I didn't look up what that is.
I don't know what an azimuth is.
I don't know what the azimuth is either. I was going to look that up, but I forgot, and I couldn't know.
Azimuth is a range, like 45 degrees, for example.
Okay.
Oh, okay. It says here the horizontal angular distance from a reference direction. Oh, okay. Yeah. Great.
Oh, okay.
Okay, like degrees. Okay.
Well, when you're setting a mortar, pretty much you're setting left, right, and up and down, and that's what they're talking about. The settings for that.
Okay, that makes sense. So
don't give me one of those then.
So they shoot off one of these grenades towards the direction where the Gorn are. And there's a flash and a boom. And Kirk gets a call from the Enterprise. Sulu reports the aliens are withdrawing and using their transporters. And so I'm going to see what's going on in the chat because I think it's been moving.
I think so.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Terminator: The Sarah Connors Chronicles, which you can hear all about next week on our brand new. Never mind.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where we are. Gorilla says you can't beam through the shields. It's blatant canon violations.
Well, there's a lot of canon that is set up in this. Like,
yeah,
this
there is.
There's, and that's one of them. This is the first instance.
That is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And by the way, not only did Gene Kuhn write this episode, but he created the Klingons.
Yes.
Oh, neat.
Photon mortar. Good work, Euler Greg.
And Mr. Brown has a very good opinion. Lower the screens for a split second to transport. It is a risk, but that's something they're more creative with later. Snortopoopa says, actually, that was an excuse. Sulu didn't want to bring Kirk up so he could have more dialogue. He didn't get it anyway.
Yeah, he's up there laughing.
Arena is the bomb. Actually, mini bombs. But they had a great style on the show that went beyond. It's even better watching the actual show, watching this show on Jill's channel. Great co-host too. Thank you, Cardinal Sin.
Merci.
The explosions look dangerous, and they were. They did look dangerous. My goodness. And Pleasant Valley Picker is still trying to equate totally polite Jill with being a punk rocker. It's awesome.
She has busted up many a hotel room, I'll tell you that much.
So, Jill, you were in a mosh pit and all that stuff?
Yes. Yeah, lots of time. Well,
Any bruises?
I try to be, but, punk rockers are a lot more kind and polite in Texas, and so I often just get protected anyway. So it's like, come on. I kind of wanted to be a little bit jostled, but whatever. They're all gentlemen here in Texas anyway. When I went to California, though, they were animals. It was fun.
Nice.
Well, they're probably all high on drugs here.
Mhm.
What is it? That drug you whatever it starts with the E. They seem to like that stuff.
Ecstasy.
Ecstasy. That's it. Yeah, that seems to be popular here.
Gorilla says the Pac-Leds are spacefaring, and look how stupid they are.
That was a dumb design. Whoever wrote that.
Good point.
The writer of the episode needs to be hauled out on a rail for that.
Well, that was part of their deception, is that they weren't quite as slow as they made themselves out to be.
I can see how the Pac-Leds got into space. It's all just theft, but
maybe if they rented ship and they had, but I don't know.
No, I think
it
someone
makes no sense. They wouldn't even know how to guide around and fly around and navigate and chart the planet. They wouldn't know how to do anything if they were as dumb as they made them look. I think it was a weak writing decision to create that race in the first place, and I really hated the makeup.
I cannot wait to discuss it when we get to that second season episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Well, we'll have to do that on
a Friday.
Yeah, on a Friday. Cardinal Sin says, I really like the science. Well, this is something that I agree with completely. I love this part of the episode. I really like the science chemistry angle in this episode. Even when I was a little kid, it's sci-fi that teaches which will win you a
Peabody Award if you're as good as Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, you won't learn anything from new stuff, that's for sure.
Yeah. Scotty R37 is a true YouTube professional. Absolutely.
Very kind. Thank you. Yeah. So, what's this guy's name? Kelowitz?
Kelowitz is the
only person left. And McCoy is taking care of Oh, the guy with the melted face.
Mm-hmm. Zulu reports that the aliens are withdrawing and
Hey,
using their transporters.
I never noticed. Mr. Leslie's back there. Good for you.
Yes, he is.
And that has been Spot Mr. Leslie in this episode of Star Trek.
I guess we don't get a her very much in this episode, do we?
She
No,
screams.
she's there. You're right. Yeah, I know. I really do like episodes when her is more present, but she's there. Sulu is informed to keep a trail on the aliens and beams them up, and Kirk orders down a search party for with 30 medical professionals to see if there are any survivors and anybody who needs help. I guess they just leave them there for the duration of the episode. I don't know.
I would say so, yeah. Considering that they're engaging with the primary aggressor.
Well, they do
They
bring it
are
up later. They do bring it up later.
Okay, they do. They go back. That's why at the end they go back to the
At
planet.
the very end, right? They say, "Let's return to Cestus 3." So I'm
They
assuming
do,
they
yes.
pick them up
Right.
if they're still alive.
So then we get a captain's log supplemental. We have beamed back to the Enterprise and immediately set out in pursuit of the alien vessel. It appears to be headed toward a largely unexplored section of the galaxy. And hello to Orla Gregg. It says, one of my favorite battle scenes in all of Star Trek, Dangerous Stunts, by the lead actor.
Absolutely, I agree.
And the survivor. Oh, yeah, the survivor. So then we get the survivor. He reports the alien attack. The Gorn took out their phasers and destroyed the outpost, even after learning that they had women and children there. And Kirk confirms that the messages sent by Cestus 3 were fake, a trap. And Spock is again impressed with the Gorn, calling them clever. While Spock is admiring their strategy, Kirk is trying to determine the Gorn's intentions. And he thinks that the Gorn are invading Earth colonies and want to eliminate the Enterprise because it's the only protection in this section of the Federation. And as Scotty pointed out to me, this is the first time we mention the Federation.
Federation and Starfleet, yep.
It's official.
Mm-hmm. I think before they said something like Space Force, but now it's Federation.
Yeah, it was like kind of changing, but now
Space
it's official.
Alliance or
Yeah. Space Fleet.
And Spock insists that it might not be an invasion, but Captain Kirk is pretty sure. So he brings the ship to Warp 6.
Right. What's interesting is Spock has a few ideas what it could be, but Kirk shuts him up and doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah, we don't get to hear what his ideas are. Then we get another supplemental. We've beamed back to the Enterprise and immediately sent out in pursuit of the alien vessel. It appears to be headed towards a largely unexplored section of the galaxy.
And this is what reminded me of the episode yesterday, The Pirates of Orion.
And Sulu sells the scene with that look. I agree completely. Sulu does a great job acting just with his expressions in this episode. Gorilla says before it was the Federation, it was the coalition of planets. But he says it very loudly. Oyla Gregg says Gorn are actively aggressive. Diplomacy is not possible. It's refreshing in a way.
Well, and at this point, it is like straight up retaliation for the destruction of Cestus 3.
Right, which we don't know yet, but yes. And there's a Hura.
Yeah, her is back there. Kirk tries to learn all he can about
Notice
this
how
area.
that earpiece that Spock is wearing. Notice how you never see him and Uhura wearing one at the same time.
I think I did see them wear it at the same time before.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I have. I can't tell you which episode it was, but I'll get back to you on that one. You think they're sharing earpieces?
I'm wondering.
They only have one prop. They run it under a hot tap. No, it's clean.
But
they probably created the insert because I was like me, for example. I don't know how I would get that to stay in my ear. I can't even get earbuds to stay in my ear, so they had to make form-fitting earplugs in order to get that to stay. I'm guessing.
I'm sure they have a Bluetooth headset that you could get that looks exactly like that, and I want
well,
it.
now you can, yeah, probably.
People are gonna look at you while you're walking around, but hey, why not?
That's fine. You think that they're not already looking at me weird?
Mm-hmm.
The Starfleet uniform does it when I'm going out grocery shopping.
Oh yeah, and yeah, Spock says that about this section of space, all he's heard are space legends. And Sorta Poopus mentions the Spock eyebrow lift watch. And there is an eyebrow lift here. That's going to be pretty good. And Cardinal Sin says the way they handled the Gorn was much better. They had great CGI and made them into a much more animalistic, powerful reptilian alien. And they are much faster in Enterprise. And so that's in Mirror Darkly.
Is that the episode
No,
of Enterprise that
Enterprise?
had the Goran?
there is one with the Gorn. I don't know. Mirror Darkly had the Tholians, but not the Gorn.
I watched the clip. That's
Well,
where
some
trapped-
episode.
Yeah, Bobby Clark, one of the actors who played the Goran, was on the set of Enterprise when they shot that episode.
Oh, and Cardinal Sin says yes, it is Mirror Darkly. So my mistake.
Whee! Admiral Teague says, Cardinal Sin saying hi to Admiral Teague. And hello to Matt G. Welcome
Hey,
to the
Matt G.
stream. It's
Hey,
Arena.
Matt G.
So
Good to
happy.
see ya.
I wanna talk about this episode all day, but I don't have all day. A Spock and a Uhura is sharing an earpiece, foreshadowing of things to come. Oh dear, yeah, you're too funny, Pleasant Valley Picker. And Oiler Greg says the Gorn are awesome, but original Gorn has its own unique charms. And Sort of Poopa says you just run a long threaded rod through the actor's head and screw it in from the other side. No, I don't know. That doesn't sound right. The Gorn were in the episode in a scanner darkly.
Mirror.
Mirror darkly.
Mirror
whatever.
Darkly.
I'm confused.
And I want to mention that the planet is named Cestus 3. A cestus was a Roman boxing glove fitted out with deadly weapons such as spikes and used by gladiators in the arena.
Oh, nice. It's too bad they didn't actually fight on Cestus 3. That's a pretty cool name to go along with the episode.
Well, it's brought up later on in Deep Space Nine, apparently. One of the characters says she's from there.
Oh, cool. And the Goran ship matches speed with the Enterprise, so Kirk increases speed to warp 7, which Spock says is dangerous. And Scotty says, we'll either catch them or blow up, Captain. They may be faster than we are. And this is the part where Spock makes a case against going to war with the Gorn. Because it really seems like Kirk is out to get the Gorn because of what they've done to the colony.
Mm-hmm.
And Spock says, you mean to destroy the alien ship, Captain? And Kirk says, of course. Spock says, I thought perhaps the hot pursuit alone might be sufficient. Destruction might be unnecessary. And Kirk says, Colony Cestus 3 has been obliterated, Mr. Spock. And Spock says, the destruction of the alien vessel will not help that colony, Jim. And Kirk says, if the aliens go unpunished, they'll be back, attacking other Federation installations. And Spock says, I merely suggest that a regard for sentient life. But Kirk interrupts him. There's no time for that. It's a matter of policy. Out here, we're the only policemen around, and a crime has been committed.
Wild West justice.
Do I make myself clear? And yes, right. Kirk assumes it's an invasion. This is why he believes engagement is necessary. If it is an invasion, he doesn't want to allow them to decimate other star bases. And he doesn't know that this is not true. So he makes this choice based on that available information.
Well, and before we move on, I do appreciate how this is one of those situations where Kirk says to Spock, and it's like, no, we're doing this. I've explained myself enough. Do you understand? And Spock is like, yes. And as Kirk gets out of the chair, he's like, I'm delighted. Like, just the good. Yeah. You are my first officer. Please carry out my orders. I heard what you said, but I'm going to do this.
I could see the same situation where if this was on TNG, they would say, well, sir, the bad guy is getting away. And he'd say, well, wait a minute, I need to talk to Guinan first. And then maybe I'll talk to Counselor Troy. And then let's get together and have a meeting in the briefing room. And then by then, the Gorn's long gone. That's what would have happened if this would have been TNG.
I don't remember a TNG episode like that.
Neither
No,
do
what
I.
I'm saying is Captain Kirk thinks on his feet
Yeah,
and acts, which
it's
Picard
true.
does not do. And
That's true. No, I definitely appreciate Captain Kirk for his
Yeah,
decision making.
Picard is incapable of that. Picard would have to say,
Because
"Well,
He's
I
not
just
incapable of it. In the midst of battle, Captain Picard is pretty good on his feet as well.
Well, yeah, when he has to, when lives are at stake, that's when it's time to do what he thinks is right, and that's what he's doing here.
okay." Here's my
And
specific
but I
question:
do appreciate.
Was there any questions of TNG where Picard made decisions immediately and refused to listen to suggestions from the other crew, like Kirk's doing here?
Yes. He
Yes.
dresses down Worf all the time. He is
No.
yeah.
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked. I was wondering, was there any episode?
Has he issued orders where people questioned his orders?
Well, because I'm saying, well, like, was there a scene similar to where he thought there was an immediate threat on the ship, and they said, "Well, sir, maybe we shouldn't." He said, "No, I'm going to do this and act on it now, like Kirk is doing here."
Yes.
There's lots of times where he's forced to engage in battle right away
Without getting
without getting without the conference meeting.
advice.
I mean,
Okay.
eventually though the conference meeting does happen, and there is definitely more teamwork kind of conference
Gotcha.
style in TNG. So you're not wrong about that in general, but there are moments where action is taken
Okay.
before they figure out what's really going on.
Yeah, I can see how you would apply that to the next generation, but it is not the standard or the norm that you're sort of describing. Is my concern is all.
Well, I really appreciate the pacing of this episode because it keeps.
Oh,
it
for
more
sure.
that's one of the things that I always thought TNG slowed down because they'd always had the talking head scenes when it's like when the situation should be handled more urgently.
I find the original series versus I find the original series versus the next generation is the original series is more built upon a submarine, whereas the next generation is more on an aircraft carrier.
Or the Love Boat.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the families. You do have the family.
Sometimes. Well, that's more season 7. So, but one thing that I really love about this is even though Spock is following orders from Kirk, he does disagree. He does think that this is a sentient being they're dealing with, that they could that there could be time to learn more, but Kirk doesn't. And I do appreciate that he still follows orders despite that.
Well, I don't think he wants the Federation to appear weak. Also,
and but that's also what's wonderful in this episode is that this theme of list of cooperation does tie in at the end in the resolution. And then Kirk kicks it up to warp 8, shocking Scotty, and Kirk has the phaser banks prepared. But then Uhura finds out they're being scanned. Oh yeah, she does. See, she
does get a couple rolls, a couple lines
that they're being scanned, and the ship. Kirk learns that the Gorn are not making a move, and since they're just sitting there, he prepares a phaser attack controlled by the computer.
Well, what they do is they completely slow to a stop rapidly.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they slow to the stop first. But before any kind of battle can begin, their ship decelerates too.
Right. And just within viewing range of the Gorn.
Pretty dramatically. Everyone has to grab onto something.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, Admiral Teak says he loves punk rock too. He stays away from the mosh pit. That was the closest I've seen to real life muck time. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Well, there's a lot of chat here.
All right.
Let's see what's going on here.
Even the crew is reacting to it. Amazing. Admiral Teak says, "Love punk. Stayed away from them. Moving on." Rose says, "Admiral Teak O'Brien O'Brien knew the ship's shield fluctuations, and he beamed over the second fluctuate. It explained it in the episode. It did when he goes to see Captain Maxwell. Yeah.
Oh,
and also,
go ahead.
In Trials and Tribulations, with O'Brien. He beams onto they beam onto the Enterprise because there's a rotation in the shields of the Enterprise too. So yeah, O'Brien is the transporter chief, y'all.
Yep. And Pleasant Valley Picker says Kirk wanted to defend Federation space, so he was doing his job. That said, though, he did want blood revenge. Yeah, but his revenge was not out of. It was still out of duty and logic. So
Right.
he wasn't.
I think it was like half and half.
He wasn't just going out. He wasn't crazy in his revenge. He was very measured.
There's so many episodes that are borderline Moby Dick, so it's like they're just balancing that line.
They did. It was a good balance. Oh, Cardinal Sin says, I love the TNG episode where Data commands his own ship, and there's a bigot that doesn't take him seriously because he's an android and doesn't respect him. Brent Spiner is a gifted actor. Yes, Captain Data was fantastic. I think everybody, I don't know. He would have been a fantastic captain of any ship.
Yes.
I love Captain Data.
Synthetic Scotch, synthetic commanders. Snortapoopa says Picard and Riker would discuss it for 10 minutes, and then Picard would order Riker to remove his foot from the chair and assemble the officers in the conference room.
And don't forget about Guinan and Counselor Troy.
Snortapoopa agrees with you, Pleasant Valley Picker. I think for that
I would never live in the 24th century. I fucking hate the next generation. Only the original series, only classic.
I'm so sorry I showed you that movie.
I don't agree with the line.
I'm joking.
It's so fun.
It's appropriate though. It's great. PvP says Kirk being able to consider reasonable feedback from the crew make him a better captain. Still, the crew always knew he was in charge and generally respected that.
Yep.
Tell me you're old without telling me that you're old. I feel, no, whenever I have this TNG versus TOS conversation, I feel like I'm arguing with my dad again. Cardinal Sin says they literally split Kirk into two characters in TNG. Riker is the young, ambitious hothead, and Picard is a seasoned, cool-headed, experienced diplomat, which worked incredibly well, strangely enough. I agree.
Oh my god. PvP thinks that if Picard was fighting the Gorn, he would have spent that time looking for a replicator for tea.
Right.
For his Earl Grey tea. No, he wouldn't. He'd be trying to talk to the Gorn, trying to get him to.
But remember, he had to go get Kirk to fight against Malcolm McDowell now. I don't remember Malcolm McDowell's character, but in Generations.
Dr. Tolian Soren.
Cardinal Sin's a punk rocker. A monetized punk rocker at that.
Hell yes.
And Cavatino Cavalryman. Hey, welcome. Have a pack of Mentos and a bottle of Mexican Coca-Cola for you, Snortapoopas. Be careful, good bear. And hello to Cam. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year to you all. Driving so can't talk. Love this episode. I've got a Gorn Mega reissue.
And a Kirk in the green uniform. Nice. Cheers,
everybody. Gotta go. Be well.
Drive safe, Cam.
I think he's talking about toys.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe it was a toy company.
Nice to see you, Cam.
Great to see you guys. And Cardinal Sin says, I like how TNG dealt with the captain should really not go away on missions thing better than TOS, but he still did the action star thing anyway. Yeah, eventually he did. Still, Kirk did disregard Spock's expressing concern for sentient life outright in the early scenes. Yes, that is just what I went over.
In the quarters,
but it's something that sticks in his brain for this episode.
Absolutely. Hit that like button, guys. Subscribe and hit the bell notifications. And leave a comment after the stream if you can.
Admiral Teak says, I think we all know Picard would have negotiated till the Gorn took himself out to get out of listening to him. This was a job for Kirk.
That I agree with. Oh,
Come
the Gorn would
on.
just say, "Oh, never mind, forget it. I'm out of here."
Okay,
Well,
anyway.
But I'm trying to, I sort of equate this, if you want to see, and this is an action-packed, amazing original series episode, probably in my top 5 of all time. And I love it very much. But I would say like the Next Generation equivalent would be the Temba, his arms wide, and Shaka, the walls fell. You're right. It's a much more, trying to negotiate for peace as opposed to I'm going to beat him and then decide not to kill him. Like, it's a different style, and I agree.
Well, yeah, I can't remember the name of the episode, but the moment
Darmok?
Darmok and
Darmok.
Tanagra,
Yeah.
right? I was hoping it would be more like this, and it turned out more than just sitting and talking through the whole episode. It was like a really extreme, watered down version of Robinson Crusoe.
Well, what it was a story. That was the story of understanding and translating each other's languages that you couldn't translate. That
And
you
I
couldn't
like
use the
that
universal
story.
translator.
I know, but it was a snooze fest.
And it was
it was a
it's
thought
one of my favorite
And it's too bad
episodes.
because I love the actor. Obviously, that was the same guy who played Captain Terrell. I love the actor.
For sure.
That is one of my favorite TNG episodes.
Paul Windle.
Yeah, Winfield. Paul
I
Winfield.
thought
yes.
I thought that using communication by metaphor was clever to get around the fact that they had a universal translator. And
Right. Well, they could do that for the
fun.
first 5 or 10 minutes or so, but an hour of it, I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
enjoyed
I
it.
just like action.
Thought-provoking.
I liked action, and I missed it.
Well, there was some of that.
Yeah, there's like a cloaked demon thing that goes and fight. It's great. Anyway,
Well, Kirk will always be Kirk, and he is
Right.
True.
second to none.
Well, definitely. I still put Kirk first.
Then Cisco, then Picard.
Well.
Well.
And Cardinal Sin says, I can't believe how few subs Anti-Derivative Jill's channel had. There should be way
she's doing great.
at my channel.
Yeah, she's doing
Oh
great.
no, I don't know about that. He predicts that I'll hit 1,000 this year.
That would be great too.
That would be pretty amazing.
It'd be cool.
I seem to. I've been stuck kind of around 310 for a whole month, so I don't know. I'm happy with who's here, and I'm happy with my chat and our discussions here. And the Metrons have arrived.
Hey.
The Enterprise is dead in the water because the Metrons have come to interrupt the Gorn and the Earthlings' little battle. The lights flicker and the view screen goes psychedelic. And they say, well, the Metrons are going to have the Gorn and the humans fight each other, since it seems that's what they want to do anyway. So instead of mucking up our space fighting, go over here. We're going to put you on this little asteroid, and y'all are going to go fight over there. So this is, but I do also like that they give them these portable recorders that also translate. So I think this is also the first time we see something like a portable universal translator.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that device comes back again in Metamorphosis when they meet Zephram Cochrane as well.
Oh, neat. And also on the planet, the Metrons say that they have left the elements to make weapons on the planet, and that the winner will go free and the loser will be destroyed.
And there's a note on that I'll add later.
Sure. It's opposite. In Darmok, they were looking to agree, fighting a common enemy. In Arena, they're looking for blood.
Vengeance shall be mine.
Yeah, because at first Picard thinks that the other guy wants to fight, but finds out that's not the case. That he wants him to help him destroy another enemy together, so that they can learn from each other. I think it's lovely. Cardinal Sin says, it's distressing and frustrating to put out good content. You know, people, and months go by. I very much feel your pain, Jill. The closer you get Doomcock, he'll shout it out. What? I'm
He only
as
shouts
close
out the
to
big
be.
channels.
I don't know. I mean, I'm as close to Doomcock as I could ever be, but I won't ever ask him to shout me out. He's got enough on his plate, taking over the world and going against all of the silliness in Hollywood and everything. I'll let him do his job.
Yeah, I wonder what the dimensions are on the view screen on. Like, what do you think? 100 inches?
I'm sure you can measure because they've showed scenes where Kirk has stood right in front of it, so I'm sure it's possible to measure it.
Yeah,
I just don't have the math skills for that.
Spock's brain, I guess, would be the one. Yeah, because the third season is when they actually started using the rear projector view screen.
Well, even in the first season, we've seen Kirk stand in front of it.
True.
But yeah, I'm sure it can be measured.
Oh, I need a minute, guys. Just a minute.
Go for it.
For sure. Hang on a second.
And Jill mentioned.
You guys read the chat for me. I got to be right back.
Yeah, will do. Admiral Teak says the Metrons are just a spotlight and a piece of mylar strapped to a hula hoop with a single piece of dental floss taped to the back to make it move. Yeah, in the original. Yeah. Hey, if it's simple and it works.
Which it did. It was very effective at the time.
Yeah, for sure. Cardinal Sin says to Classic Comics, Mr. Entrance. Sorry, I was writing to one of these other clods. How you doing? Yes, hey, Classic Comics. Typo, and hang on. Here we go. Herc130 says, we are an awesome chat. The board ain't shabby either. Kind of feel like it is our own little clubhouse here. All nerds welcome. I'm assuming that's what the Groucho glasses mean. And then Classic Comics says, doing well, sir. Agree with your observation about Jill's channel, as do I. PvP says, the Metron view screenshot was very psychedelic. Were the special effects guys dropping acid that week? I believe so as well. Big Daddy MRI is here. Ahoy! I shout you out on Doomcock's streams. He doesn't mind.
When they say shout you out, does that mean on the panel and you actually say it, or does that mean just mentioning it in the chat?
I do not know.
Okay.
Mr. Brown says, soon you'll have more subs than Infinity. Oh, hey, and Cabatino, Cavalryman Shea says, Metron screensaver, anyone? Did anybody have the Star Trek, the original series screensaver? It was awesome.
Yeah, I remember that back in the day on a Mac.
Yeah. And then Admiral Teague says, Kirk is out of character being impressed by the bloodthirsty, vicarious Metrons. They're no different than the dick alien race in Spectre of the Guns. That's, yeah, kind of. But I do like, they reference Cestus 3 so many times, or twice in Deep Space Nine. Once in Trials and Tribulations, where Sisko says he wants to ask Kirk about fighting the Gorn on Cestus 3. And I think that there's a baseball tournament that happens on Cestus 3 at one point.
I read somewhere that some character that was on Deep Space Nine said she was from Cestus 3. Cestus 3. I read that this morning.
Oh, okay.
But I can't remember the character's name because I'm not a fan of DS9, unfortunately. So I apologize for that.
Oh, no, let's see.
You might find it under Star Trek, the Wikipedia, Trekopedia. I'm not sure whatever that website is called.
Memory Alpha is where I am headed, sir.
That's it.
Let's see.
And the Universal Translator, obviously, guys, I'm sure you figured it out. It was just a razor with the safety shield removed.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, painted silver, yeah.
Oh, heavens. What is this? Something blew up.
And the bridge view is looking straight at the view screen. Flashes of color light can be seen reflecting off the upper surfaces of the red barriers in front of the screen in a regular repeating pattern. This happens even when there are no flashing lights on the screen to reflect. This flashing reflection was actually from the first Federation probe in Star Trek: The Corbin Maneuver. This view of the screen was reused on several later episodes. So you will see it.
And Cardinal Sin says, okay, back to the episode. Let's go to the planet. We're just waiting on Jill. She is in command of these slides. So unfortunately, we are here to entertain you, and I am so sorry.
Look, I have one job on this lousy ship. It's stupid, but I'm gonna do it, okay?
We're just waiting on Jill to do that job.
Electric hair clippers with the that's it. With the guard removed. That's what the translator is. Yes, and this is the first episode that introduces the universal translator.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Hey guys, sorry about that. I had to take care of something.
Fair enough. We need to get to the planet.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yay.
Warp 8.
Yeah, that's the next step. Oh wait, there's the eyebrow
There it is.
that Snarpoopus was looking for.
Yep, there it is.
And there's Gordon.
And in the special edition, his eyes blink.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we saw that. We saw the blinks.
Yes.
And he has multicolored eyes. Multicolored tunic. Oh, and I had this. This is extra. This is from the book, Paula and Block book. So this is the Gorn costume and pieces. The head,
Nice.
The original?
hands.
Or one of the originals?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Well, it's in that book. It has to be.
I was reading that Ben Stiller owns one of the original heads, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess he's a big Star Trek fan.
That's
Huge Star Trek fan.
There we go.
Roar. Human. Roar. Sorry. I'm just going to make Gorn effects now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible because Vasquez Rock still looks exactly like that after all these years.
Now, were
Except
those the tree bundles? Were those set dressings, or were those like
the tree behind the Gorn was obviously a prop, but all that behind him, that's real.
Like the brush and stuff? That's cool.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't wait to see your videos, man.
So, here's a part. I just threw this bit from the book here. I don't know if it's a good spot for it, but it says here, the lines separating departmental responsibilities in a film or television production sometimes appear arbitrary. For example, the costume department is responsible for creating rubber creature suits like that of the Gorn, but if the costume requires any special accommodations, such as waterproofing or rigging to keep the actor comfortable while wearing it, those needs are the responsibility of the special effects department. The distinction between departments grows even fuzzier when differentiating between such items as pieces of jewelry, earrings, belong exclusively to the costume department, while wedding rings and watches are supplied by the property department. The property department is also responsible for any type of helmet, even though the helmet wearer may be dressed in a matching uniform created by the costume department. And demonstrating that distinction can be extremely arbitrary. A purse is part of a costume, while a briefcase, even if carried by a woman as a purse, is a piece of property. These odd distinctions developed and were codified throughout the history of film production in general. The very first time an item was needed for a production, the department that supplied it became responsible for similar items evermore. And also the book says, on an episode popularity scale, Arena stands somewhere in the middle of the pack. That's weird. It stands pretty much higher than that for me. What makes it memorable is not Gene L. Kuhn's script, which was an adaptation of a well-known short story by science fiction writer Frederick Brown. It's the Big Green Guy. The Gorn is one of the prolific Watching's best-known designs. That's oddly worded. And it's his design that people remember, not the plot line. Yet the Gorn is another man in a rubber zippered suit. But original viewers, particularly young ones, took to the bipedal lizard with an affection they never extended to the Mugatu, the creature in the zippered suit from Private Little War. The Gorn became an instant classic and to this day remains one of the most popular figures based on a Star Trek character. And if Pleasant Valley Picker wants to come up, I'll be sending him the link
Uh,
now. This
PvP unfortunately had to go.
Oh,
We
he
got
had
an
to
email
go.
from work. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, if anyone wants to join the panel, let me know.
I have some notes I'd like to share.
Okay. Yes, please do.
This is from Inside Star Trek: The Real Story by Herb Solo and Bob
Sweet.
Justman. Costume, and it's just basically a little more detail on what we spoke about before. Costume designer Bill Tice didn't do, quote, monsters. When creatures were required, outside specialists were consulted. Wall Chang designed and built the Gorns for Arena. They were green and resembled some aquatic creatures he had created for the Outer Limits. The full-body suits were made of a rubber-like compound, but owing to their weight and limited flexibility, even stuntmen needed great endurance to wear them. And Gary Combs, one of the actors who wore the Gorn suit, suffered from claustrophobia. A genuine trooper wore the suit, and then that dreaded head, which triggered his claustrophobic condition in a major way. The show was filmed with no trouble from Combs, and the crew lost no time as a result of Combs' condition. And you can see, when you look at the head of the Gorn and the eyes, right below the eyes, you can see the slit that the actor used to see through, because he was obviously not able to see through those eyes. So that's the slit on either side of the nose, right above the nostrils. Sorry, continue.
Sorry, I need to be right back again. I didn't finish the thing that I needed to finish.
All right, go finish. It suddenly got quiet. Are you there, Scotty? I guess I'm here by myself. I hope somebody can hear me, either that or I don't know if it's my audio or not.
I'll continue until he returns. Okay.
Oh, Scotty stepped away from the mic too?
No,
I
I'm
guess
back.
so.
I'm back.
Okay.
Okay, so I thought I finished the thing, but I didn't finish the thing. So I'll be right back.
I was just rambling on. I don't know if you guys could hear me or not.
Oh no, we could totally hear you. I had to step away for just 1 second, but
Can
I am
you-
back.
Can
No
you read
problem.
this for me?
Yes,
It's an exposition by.
absolutely. Kirk from off camera says the Enterprise is dead in space, stopped cold during her pursuit of an alien raider by mysterious forces. And I have been somehow whisked off the bridge and placed on the surface of an asteroid facing the captain of an alien ship. Weaponless, I face the creature the Metrons called a Gorn. Large, reptilian. Like most humans, I seem to have an instinctive revulsion to reptiles. I must fight to remember that this is an intelligent, highly advanced individual, the captain of a starship.
And that rock right behind Kirk, the fans have affectionately entitled it Gorn Rock, apparently.
Oh, cool. And obviously that would have been the set dressings with the rubies.
And whatever that red thing is, I think it's, I don't know, a garment, piece of material.
I thought that was the rubies, like the precious gems. That
Oh, is that what they are? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Because of the diamonds and all that jazz. Hang on. The Gorn breaks.
I saw the diamonds, yeah.
Oh, and Jill goes on to some more dialogue in the private. Says the Gorn breaks a branch off a tree with great ease. Kirk struggles to break off a twig. Their first physical engagement is uneven. Kirk is more agile than the reptile, but nowhere near as strong. He boxes the Gorn's ears to get out of a bear hug and runs up to the rocks looking for weapons. He throws a heavy rock at the Gorn, but it just bounces off his chest when a boulder gets flung at him in return. Kirk retreats quickly. Yes, and this is one of the tropes of Star Trek as well, the giant foam rubber boulders. Do you, and what pop culture, you said you had that you had the remake of the ad?
Yes, I had that ad. Yes, I have it here. Also, here you guys will notice that Captain Kirk is wearing different boots. Now he's wearing hiking boots that lace up.
Oh, really? I didn't notice.
You will.
Okay.
When they'll show, you'll see closer when they show him actually climbing the rocks. You'll see a better close-ups of his feet.
Humor. Ted Cassidy's voice is so good in this as well.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, this is the last time we're going to hear Ted Cassidy do work for Trek.
Oh, that is a shame. Boxing the ears, running. Little Rock. Rah. Thunk. Rah. And yep, here we go. Our big foam rubber boulder. Now there is one of the dramatic beats for commercial break that is laughable when it does happen, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, and here Spock finds that Scotty cannot get power to the engines, and Uhura is not having any luck with the sensors either. And Kirk is standing on the rocks, silhouetted against a clear blue sky. Kirk makes an entry on his recorder for posterity. This is Captain James Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. Whoever finds this, please get it to Starfleet Command. I'm engaged in personal combat with a creature, apparently called a Gorn. And we see that the recording is also being transmitted and translated by the Gorn's device, too. So he has one, too.
I have heard every word that you have said.
And Kirk says basically, I mean, this could just be me reading from the script, but I don't have to do that because the script is just so perfect. But here he's just saying that the Gorn is strong, but he's not agile, and hopefully that he's more clever than the Gorn.
Right, he's underestimating the Gorn, unfortunately.
He is. And the book by Paul M. Block says, on December 29th, 1913, a young filmmaker named Cecil B. DeMille started shooting on Hollywood's first full-length motion picture, The Squaw Man, in a barn on Vine Street. Since that day, Los Angeles and the surrounding area have served as a location for countless films and television episodes. These days, oft-filmed streets, buildings, hillsides, parks, and cemeteries are readily recognized by astute viewers. During the 1960s, however, the general public was not thought to be as savvy or traveled. A shot of the jet age architecture of the theme building of Los Angeles International Airport could pass for the exotic headquarters of a mysterious spy agency, and the very unique strata of Vasquez rocks passed for many an alien world on Star Trek. Standing proud.
Jill,
Yes?
just check the private chat when you get a second, and I'll be back in a minute.
Yes, I understand. I'll see you soon. Say hi to Snoopy. Standing proudly just north of Los Angeles, the rock formation named after the famed bandit Tiburcio Vasquez was the backdrop for I know I mispronounced that.
I know, I'm looking it up now. I apologize. I'm looking it up now.
Tiburcio. Hundreds of early westerns featuring vigilantes such as Zorro, a classic character originally based on Vasquez, and cowboys like
Tiburcio.
Tiburcio, yeah. Tom Mix, Buck Jones, and Tim Holt. Gene Autry shot numerous episodes of his television shows here, as did the producers of Lone Ranger, Gunsmoke, Bonanza, The Wild Wild West, The $6 Million Man, and more recently, Monk, Bones, and NCIS. But Star Trek is very likely the show that is most closely associated with the location. 4 episodes featured prominent exterior scenes shot at Vasquez Rocks. Arena, The Alternative Factor, which is next week's episode. Surely.
You sound excited.
And Friday's Child. Yeah, we'll talk more about that.
We get a lot of Vasquez Rocks and Friday's Child.
Mm-hmm. And Kirk says the Metrons, the creatures that sent us both here, said that the surface of the planet provides the raw material for weapons. So he can't really find any weapons here. He's still looking. Back on the ship, Spock recognizes that he can do nothing, as he can't move the ship, even to do a search. So running up the slope, Kirk comes across a clump of mature bamboo. Good,
AKA
solid,
props.
Yeah, good solid hollow streams. But he doesn't regard them as suitable clubs. He carries on, and the Gorn is trailing the vines. He's trying to make a trap himself.
Right.
And Kirk comes across an outcrop of minerals. And he talks about them. He tells us what they are. He finds diamonds. And he says that they're the hardest substance we know about.
And that shot was filmed during the afternoon, sunset.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I want to mention Tiburcio Vasquez.
Yes.
And in 1874, Tiburcio Vasquez, one of California's most notorious bandits, used these rocks to elude capture by law enforcement. His name has since been associated with his geological feature. So,
and I have to say, thank you to Matt G. He just tipped $1. Sorry, Jill, I had to step away for a bit. She had to change the filter in her indoor spa. Well, yeah, you got to help out, of course.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. And oh my goodness, the Comic Relief Crusader is here. That's great. Okay, welcome. So from his vantage, wait a minute. What were you saying just a moment ago about something? You were talking about.
I was just mentioning that this was filmed during the afternoon. I could tell by the way the sun's setting on the rocks and the angle.
Oh, okay. That's a good observation. So Kirk is watching the Gorn at work, and then he finds a rock.
You're going to notice in scenes that Kirk is wearing thermal underwear under that shirt, a white, to be exact, long sleeve thermal underwear. So I'm guessing some of these, this was filmed in early November. So I'm guessing some of these shots were, early in the morning. And I have to admit, right there where Kirk is, I hung up there many times with a friend. When we would go to Vasquez Rocks, we would climb up there, and right in that nook right there is where we would sit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a service door down below where cars would sit many hours up there.
That looks like a nice spot to chill.
It is. You have to climb up to it, but it's nice. It is. It's really cool.
So Kirk finds a rock here, neatly balanced, and he pushes it over. The Gorn.
That shot in the studio.
Looks up.
That shot outside.
And we get a cloud of dust. And a view of the reptile under the rock. Kirk is confident that the Gorn's been taken down, and he's just checking on his kill to see, but the Gorn moves.
He has a big smile on his face.
Yeah, look at that. He's so happy. He's like, oh, I did it. I can finally get back to the Enterprise. I'm so happy. But no, the Gorn is fine. He's very resilient, the Gorn. So then Kirk falls for the Gorn's trap. Gets pinned under a rock.
Now he knows not to underestimate him again.
Right. But the Gorn ends up having to move the boulder in order to stab him, and in doing so, Kirk is freed.
Of course.
I don't know why that was the case, but sure.
I know.
Thanks.
Right.
It's like the Gorn is helping him out.
That's basically what it is, right? Especially because he's so slow. What was he expecting? And that, I mean, honestly, the size of that boulder, it would have crushed his legs.
Yeah, so you don't think Kirk would be walking away from this injury?
No, he has a slight limp, but I think it'd be more than that. Mm-hmm. That boulder was pretty big.
That makes some logical sense to me. And Spock keeps trying to communicate with the Metrons, not having any luck.
There we are, late in the afternoon.
Kirk finds the sulfur, and he's getting pretty tired. And he thinks.
Well, it's funny that area right there where they showed the sulfur. They showed that same area several times in this episode, but in your mind, you're thinking it's taking place in several areas, but it's not. Mm-hmm. So they really don't shoot this in very many different spots in this episode. They just make the spots look different mm-hmm. angles and different times of day.
That's great. Yeah, well, it's not jarring to me. It looks good to me.
Oh, it does. I never would have known that if I hadn't been to the park. That's just it. It works so well.
Yeah, but you just know the area so well. You know what time of day it is. And
well, like earlier when I pointed out where Kirk was staring at the Gorn and they had that tree, and I mentioned that behind Kirk that rock was called Gorn Rock. Well, that was the same exact spot where he later finds sulfur.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right, but in
Right
your
on.
mind you're thinking it's a different area, but it's not.
I do. I think it's a completely different area.
Yep.
It works for me.
And that's also where Sulu fought the tiger.
Oh, the tiger.
Right, or the samurai. Sorry, the samurai. That was it.
It was like
Sulu was
nobody
the
fought
samurai.
the tiger. The tiger was just standing around.
Right, the
You're
tiger.
right.
Yeah, I meant the samurai. That scene with Sulu and the samurai on
makes more
shore
sense.
leave. Right.
Mhm. Yeah, the tiger just had a chain on him, and we were just
Right,
like, "Hey,
and
look, there's a tiger."
And it was gentle. It was even looking away from them.
It was just like whatever. I was fed this morning.
What am I doing here?
Cardinalson says the guy in the suit was a stuntman, but he barely kept it together in this hot, unborgably brutal suit that in that heat. And apparently, though, you're saying it was like November, so it should have been cool, but the suit was just so hot that it overcame any kind of coolness that was around.
Right, it would be cool in the morning, but it would still get moderately warm in the afternoon.
Oh, okay. So it was still hot. Yeah, okay.
Right,
California is a bit like Texas in weather in terms of it's really warm.
Yeah, I'm guessing they probably, whenever they shot the Gorn scenes, they probably did that early in the morning when it was cool as possible.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
That's great. And Cardinal Sin says, shows a level of commitment you don't see on TV today or streaming. Well, actually from stuntmen. And I heard actually that this episode was the first time that I don't know if it's the first time, but it's where they got the tradition of using stuntmen in alien roles that required a lot of physical.
Very possible. I hadn't heard it before, but that doesn't mean it's not true. That's
I think I was listening to Laura Renner earlier, and he was saying that.
I always thought it was because they just didn't want to spend the money to have big name actors covering their faces.
Oh, well, that could be part of it too. And hello to Captain Infinity. Welcome to the stream.
Captain.
Mm-hmm. And Herc130 says, spell check didn't get me this time. Oh. Okay. And Cardinal Sin says, Scotty R37's dramatic reading of Kirk's monologue is wonderful in his own way. I know. I want him to read all of whenever I have Kirk.
I thought it was a kind of weak sauce Shatner, though.
I thought it was, well, it's better than mine, which is non-existent.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Sir Poopa says, that was not a bear hug.
No, they were slow dancing.
Classic Comics. Hello, welcome. He's calling it me too.
Show me on the Gorn where they touched you.
Carlson says the exact same wonderful conceit was used in the best Doctor Who episode, The Genesis of the Docks. But do I have the right?
Yeah, that speech is awesome. That's one of Tom Baker's best.
And Admiral Teague says Kirk was wearing wrestling or boxing shoes in this. You can see in some scenes they tried to cover the laces. Oh, you know what?
Gaff tape. Gaffer tape?
Mm-hmm.
Gaff. Or duct tape. Like duct tape. But if you tear it, it's got threads in it.
Yeah. Snorter Poopa says the usual costume boots were probably no good for climbing and running around on the rocks. Yeah, no, those were very...
Yeah, that's exactly true. You'd be sliding and falling.
Yeah,
we had to wear
soles.
Yeah, we had to wear good shoes up to hike that, because as you guys saw that steep end, you'd be sliding down the hill all the time if you didn't have a good grip. I saw a grandmother climb to the top. We couldn't believe it. We were like, "What?"
Nice.
The very right there. Apparently, I don't know, but we didn't talk to them. But it was interesting. It was a whole family, including like this really old lady, and they went all the way to that very top peak, where you see the Spock character in Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. It's supposed to be Mount Seleia.
Oh, that was Vasquez Rocks as well. That's crazy.
Yeah,
cool.
Right. That was Mount Seleia also. But there's like a lower level. There's like the top, the very, very top, where you see Spock standing in Star Trek IV. And then there's a level right below that where I pointed out the nook that me and my friend used to hang out at. And that level below is where Kirk threw the rock off the ledge. So Kirk did not throw the rock off the very top. He threw it off the second level.
Right.
But I saw an old lady climb to the very top. And that's not for the weak of heart, I'd put it that way. It's very steep climbing up there.
Yes.
Sounds like fun.
It does sound like fun, but I got a thing for heights, so I don't know how far up I'd go. But if you're telling me that an old lady made it all the way up, I have to.
That's what we were laughing at, right? Because him and I were debating, should we do it? I don't know. It looks dangerous. And we see this old lady just prancing up the side of the mountain. We're like, what?
Yeah. If I feel like my footing is sure, I'll do it.
Yes.
Cardinal Sin just tipped $25. Great, solid show.
Wow.
You're on your way, doing great. Thank you, Cardinal Sin. That means a lot coming from such a great YouTuber as you.
Very cool.
And JD Lewis says Robert Justman had a pair of dummies dressed as Gorns in his office that the crew frequently posed provocatively.
Right. What happened was he took 2 suits from this episode, put them in his office, and one of them he dressed as a woman. And according to him, as a joke, it was to scare away intruders.
Oh, nice. That's funny. Heck. That would just be the best. I know it's just a job if you're in production, but still, to be able to work on the production of Star Trek and be like, you know what, I'm going to take these Gorn suits and put them in my office. Make one a girl. Right.
And back then, they had, think about it, they had, none of them had any idea how much everything around them would be worth later on to collectors, right?
Oh, for sure.
Right. They didn't even keep the whole Gorn costume together, did they?
The set of the Enterprise and none of that. They never thought ever. I mean, all you do is steal that chair right there, the Spock sitting on, and you'd be rich for life selling it.
Oh, for sure. Like they're not. When they were making the original series, they weren't like, they're going to hang this model in the Smithsonian.
Yeah, the Smithsonian, right? Or the Galileo, just giving that away. What a shame.
Oh, my stars. Cardinal Sin says, "Man, I bet after a few takes, this got to be exhausting." Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, and maybe that's part of the reason why the Gorn was moving so slow. He was tuckered.
And you have to give William Shatner credit. He was in good physical shape. He did a lot of stunts himself.
Yeah.
And I love when Matt G does this. He just tipped $1. Wow, Cardinal Sin and I have donated over $25 today.
Between the two of us.
Yeah.
You're my worst nightmare on The Price is Right. I bid $25.01.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love when somebody bets $1.
Yes, well, and it's a safe bet. It's good, but you can hear all about it on our Price.
Yeah, you can win a bet with $1. Yeah, you can win a bet if you're fast enough.
Is everyone in this community from Texas?
I am an honorary Texan, apparently.
Or Texas or Canada, apparently. I don't know.
Yes.
Well, we have California here on the panel. Also,
we do, but CA is also, that's California, but also Canada.
Yes.
We're sharing.
Cardinal Sin said they'd never ensure the lead actors doing their own stunt work these days, like they did then.
For sure. But it's part of the reason why this generation of actors, and I would say this generation even goes to like the late 80s, where not only the actors themselves were very physical, but also the stuntmen made names for themselves instead of sort of being behind the scenes. Although that maybe I'm just not up on my modern day stuntmen.
Yeah, and Snortapoopus says a bear would have crushed Kirk's rib cage and bitten into his skull.
The Revenant on Cestus 3. Did you see what they did?
Oh my God. Oh my. Okay, I'm not getting into that.
What happened? What did we miss?
Something about decay. I don't know about that.
It's old. There's no proof. I've heard of it.
Okay, then never mind. Okay. If you guys don't want to talk about it, I don't need to.
But thank you, Classic Comics, for the news.
It's accusations that have not been proven.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm not necessarily defending decay. I'm just saying it's something that has not been proven, and we don't know. It could be hearsay. I don't know.
Right. I don't know either. I've just heard of it just now. Admiral Teague says sometimes in this episode, it's obvious William Shatner took a real beating running up and down that rock all day. Here and there, he's so shot that he's not even acting.
Yeah, you guys, when I post my video of Vasquez Rocks, I'm going to have to mute out a lot of my from climbing. So I'll put the music in there or something, right?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I have to run around the house and do stuff. And so when I come back, I'm still muted for a little bit.
You take it to the Vasquez Rocks. you remember, when you go to something like that, it's like, oh well, I really do need to hike more often and
Yeah,
get back into shape.
I should too. Admiral Teague says, "Are you sort of saying that once Kirk broke the Gorn's wrestling hold, all he had to do to stay alive long enough was to figure out how to win?"
That's exactly what yes. Cardinalson is saying he was losing until he figured out how to win.
Yes.
Oh, my stars. Cardinal Sin says, zombies grow too many to control on a Federation ship. You're the captain. What do you do?
Grow?
You know what? Well, your crew are the ones who are going to be turning into zombies. So I guess it comes to a ratio.
Oh.
I would go shuttlecrafts and then blow up the ship.
Oh yeah, the Metrons are saying your captain's gonna lose. Get ready to bury him. And
whatever God you believe in.
But
mercy on your soul.
Just because we have mercy, we'll let you watch him die. Here you go.
Oh, nice.
Did he already get pinned under the rock and then it meant nothing after the fact?
Yeah. And the Gorn.
Okay, I missed that.
The Gorn helps him Gorn takes the rock off and helps
him. Yeah, helps him get loose.
Okay, I missed it. My mistake. Continue. I apologize.
No, that's okay. You did miss it. That was a good part. And then we finally see the potassium. We saw the sulfur earlier. And the bridge crew watch as Kirk realizes these mineral deposits are useful. And
is this another instance of us watching an episode of Star Trek, watching an episode of Star Trek?
Yeah.
This is an instance where the bridge is watching an episode of Star Trek, and we're watching the bridge watch an episode of Star Trek.
That's great. I love when we watch together.
Right, and the crew were probably thinking, wow, great music.
Look at those dramatic zooms. The Metrons.
I know the zoom and the panning and the tilting. Yeah.
Oh.
And the Gorn here admits he's heard everything that Kirk has said. He's tired of chasing him, so he's asking Kirk to wait around so he can destroy him.
Right. I don't know if we mentioned, but obviously the suit was designed by Hua Chang, clothing by Michael Tice, the costume designer.
Wonderful.
So it's like, here's the Gorn, now put some clothes on it. William Tice.
Right.
William
okay.
Tice.
So that's what they were meaning earlier when they were talking about property versus costuming.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. William Tice says, I don't do aliens. So they said, okay, then we get Hua Chang, he did the alien, and then Tice did the costume.
Neat. And this is also where we learned that from the Gorn's perspective, the Earthlings were the invaders invading on their space. And McCoy is stunned at this possibility that they're the invaders on Cestus 3. And that that could be possible.
And maybe you should listen to Spock.
Yeah, absolutely listen to Spock. And I like that was a moral dilemma in the beginning. And if this had been just your average monster of the week sort of situation, then the Gorn would have been the bad guy and Kirk would have taken care of the Gorn. And then it would have been, let's go to next week's adventure. But that's what Star Trek did so well. It was like maybe the fierce, ugly revulsion of the Gorn because of the reptilian species. It's like maybe they were the good guys and maybe we were wrong, which is something that just, that's one of the first times that it was just like, maybe I'm not 100% correct just because of what I thought. And Star Trek questions that. And that's part of the reason why I like the show so much.
Yes, me too. And this is one of my favorite episodes for that, because when you're not always going to get what you expect, and things aren't always as they appear, and monsters aren't always actually monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I found this note here that says, in the 1970s, the Mego Toy Company produced a Gorn action figure doll. However, unlike the TV character, the toy was dressed in the same costume used for the Klingon doll.
Oh, really?
So whoever that was that commented on that in the chat, what is it you said you had again? There was a Mego?
Oh, the Mego. Someone had a Mego. Yeah, that's
Cam
right.
Cam. It was Cam.
Cam. Yeah, of course it's Cam. He has a toy store in his house.
And Cam's driving, so yeah, he can answer later when he gets a chance.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, then
there we go.
And he's limping. He's
and
running
that's a service,
limping.
Right? That's a service road behind him where cars would drive up and down. You can obviously see.
Nice.
And they watch as Kirk returns to the bamboo.
And I'm
And he
guessing the
finds-
Gorn is standing in the shade because of the heat.
I like how he
finds
goes
the
through
good-
a couple. Yeah, he finds the good one.
Yeah. And then Spock is enjoying. Well, I mean, he's not. Maybe he's not enjoying
Enjoying.
it. But he does. You know what? He does kind of seem like he's enjoying it. Like he's like, yeah, you're getting it. You understand.
Or he's
like,
impressed, I guess.
like he's.
Yeah. Oh, Spock's proud of Kirk.
I think so. Like as much as a Vulcan can enjoy something, he.
Can you go back
enjoys-
that last shot? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you biggie this, you could tell what I was talking about with the boots.
Mhm.
Biggie it.
God,
Oh.
my friends and I, we reenacted this scene so many times. That's what I meant by the top ledge and the lower ledge.
Right.
So he's heading up to the lower ledge. And you won't be able to see the laces from the back, but yeah, he's wearing
I
hiking
don't know
boots
how
rather
to
than.
undo this.
That's the Federation's
there you go.
ass right there. Oh my God, Shatner in his youth. What a pair of buns. That man did squats, I tell you.
Are we
And
still
that's
looking at
definitely
the? Are we still looking at the boots?
Yes,
I panned
well,
up ages ago.
That's definitely Shatner's butt. Yeah, it's definitely
That
not
is.
a stuntman.
He's looking good, ladies. He's 91.
And right there, you see it's almost dark
Yes.
all of a sudden. So it went from like almost what looked like noon when Kirk was climbing that slope, and it cuts over. We see the Gorn, and you can tell the sun setting on the other side of that ridge.
Well, and it's amazing. You pointed that out when
Mhm.
we were on Shore Leave, the episode Shore Leave as well. That sort of, okay, the sun has started to go down and you can tell the difference between
Yep.
the on-set lighting versus the natural lighting, which is obviously here.
Right. Yeah, that last scene with the Gorn had set lighting because the sun was already setting at that point, and now we're back to broad daylight again.
Mhm.
You can tell
Yeah.
the sun is high in the sky.
And Spock says that he's reasoned it out, and Kirk is getting some potassium nitrate. He's shoveling it in the bamboo, and he's yeah.
So they're assuming that the Gorn does not have the knowledge to make gunpowder either, right?
Well,
I-
don't forget, the Gorn tried a different trap, and the Gorn is pretty much saying, this is going to take forever. Why don't you just give up? Like, when I find you, you're dead.
I'm tired of running.
Yeah, he's
I'll
not
be-
thinking. He might know about geology, but he's not showing any of that here. He's just
Right.
counting on his brute force because he knows
Mm.
he's stronger.
Yes.
And
Kirk's using his ingenuity as opposed to the Gorn going for, I'm bigger, I'm stronger, and as soon as I get my hands on you, you're going to go down, sucker.
yes, so and Kirk's gonna find the sulfur. He's gonna put the sulfur in the bamboo, and the diamonds in the bamboo too, because the diamonds will work like a projectile.
Diamonds are forever. You
Mhm.
won. I weary of the chase.
Well, Kirk is making some gunpowder while he's
Right. It's almost like the
Is
Gorn
there
saying, "Will you
anything
just stand still so I can get you?"
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's saying.
I shall be merciful and quick.
And quick.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's get killed. by-
Yeah. Can you imagine the Gorn is so slow? I wonder how quick that's going to be, right?
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's why I was in. Maybe that's why Cardinal Sin was bringing up zombies in the in the chat because they're also slow. Usually.
From the coal. Simple coal.
Yeah, and so
Woohoo,
coal.
peekaboo.
Yes, and all Spock says is coal. So
Can you
Spock is just narrating the whole thing. It's fun.
send me that image so I can make it my new Tinder profile picture?
Yes, I will
Thank
send
you.
it to you.
Thank you very much.
Now Kirk settles down to the empty bamboo. He crushes the coal. He makes a hole in the bamboo for a fuse, and he mixes his ingredients a little more. So it's a little science experiment because he's making gunpowder.
And of course, they refer to this scene in Galaxy Quest. Can we make a rudimentary lathe?
Right.
Right.
Of course they do.
And there's that service road. You can practically see tire marks.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. He's reasoned it through. Hopefully he does the and we do the thing.
Can he do it if he has the time?
It is very dramatic. This is
It's
almost
exciting.
like it's ringside commentary. When you'll notice that Captain Kirk has accumulated the rudimentary components of gunpowder. He's making a cannon. The Gorn think that he
I
has
think that was a really smart move to have the Metrons let Spock commentate.
Yes, oh, absolutely. Narratively, for sure. Like in terms of the teleplay, yeah.
It makes it more fun. The cannon is strengthened with the vine, and the gunpowder is rammed into it, and then he puts in the diamonds, and then a piece of his pants. Right?
Yes,
I mean, those are his
he does.
pants.
He does tear off a piece of his pants. True.
And then he makes a fire, sort of a fire, the smoke.
He uses the universal translator as a flint with the coal.
Yes, like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then once he sees the Gorn, he braces the cannon and he fires it.
Just in time.
Yes. The explosion blows the bamboo apart, but also incapacitates the Gorn.
And I'm sure people will remember Mythbusters actually covered this to see if it could be done.
Oh yeah, I remember that, but I don't remember. I know their conclusion was
It was not
either
plausible, right? It was long enough to be able to support
entirely.
that explosion.
So it wasn't completely busted, just implausible. So that goes in between.
Yeah. Well, they said because according to what they said if it was bamboo, it would not work to be busted. But
Mhm.
the bamboo on the Cestus 3 or whatever asteroid
Well,
could be
yeah, the
stronger
asteroid.
than our right. The bamboo on this planet could be stronger than what we have on Earth. So that's what they said. So it depends on the plot.
That's right. So this is super duper alien bamboo.
Right. It could be harder, right?
I'm afraid of the pandas.
Yeah, if the bamboo is stronger than the pandas, oh dear.
Feral pandas overpopulate this world. Can you imagine being attacked by a pack of unruly panda bears? What have you done to our bamboo? Anyway, so the Gorn is knocked out. And so pop culture, this is one of the things that in the remaster, the diamond in the suit. Now, I watched this last night and I thought that like the blood coming out and the diamond in the chest of the Gorn, is that an addition or was that in the original?
I was thinking the same thing. I don't remember them showing the diamond sticking out in the original.
Right.
But I don't have the two to compare, though. I need to dig it up and find out.
If anybody in the chat knows, that would be Fabu. But I thought that this was an addition in terms of the special effects that I'm okay with. But it's just interesting that that's one of the few things that they actually, if they did,
it would be very subtle.
Yes.
And I wanted to mention the reason the blood color is the color it is because if they show real blood color, they're taking the chance of the censors coming down on them.
Yes. Well, and that's why in all the old Westerns and whatnot, they end up sort of just covering the wound and falling over.
Right. Maybe a little trickle of blood in the mouth when they get punched.
Mm-hmm.
But even when Kirk holds the dagger to the Gorn's throat and then pulls the dagger up and says, "I won't do it," you can see a tip of blood on the tip of it.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. You're right. There it is. Yeah, and I'm gonna put this in the private chat for Scotty. Would you please read this?
For sure. Just waiting for the transmission to come through subspace. Here we are. Kirk says, No, I won't kill you. Maybe you thought you were protecting yourself when you attacked the outpost. He throws the dagger away, stands up and shouts to the sky, I am Kira. No, wrong episode. Sorry. Kirk says, No, I won't kill him. Do you hear? You'll have to get your entertainment someplace else. The Gorn disappears, and a young blonde boy in a white shift appears in Sedan. Hello. I am television's first transgender. Actually, that's not true. It would have been one of the keepers from the cage.
Yeah, the Telosian from the cage. For sure.
True.
So my question is, Jill, do you think that this is where they got that character from the Orville? The one that I call the Me Trans?
Oh, that I always thought they were trying to go for Q there, but it could be a combination of that and this.
Okay.
And they were going for a transhumanism thing also.
Right, and also transgender.
Possibly. I don't know.
I think
That's a whole nother story.
the term would have been androgynous as opposed to transgender.
Androgynous. Well, yeah, you notice Kurt doesn't say, "Are you a he or a she?"
Right. What are your pronouns?
What are your pronouns?
He instantly goes for boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is a weird choice because that's a very pretty boy.
Yeah, so the book has something to say about this. It says, despite Kirk's justifiable anger over the destruction of Cestus III, he finds that he can't bring himself to kill the Gorn commander, even in the face of the Metron's assurance that the Gorn surely would have destroyed you. Kirk had come to understand the Gorn's actions. He's even willing to admit that the Federation colonists might have been in the wrong. The theme of compassion appears repeatedly throughout Star Trek. It's what makes us representatives of the Federation.
Yes.
Better than them, bad guys like Klingons, the Gorn. Kirk is willing to admit that he is a barbarian, and he does so in several episodes. But he's also quick to point out that he's an enlightened barbarian, meaning that he can choose not to kill. And therein lies the advancement of his and thus our civilization. Given that the show first aired during an era when U.S. conflicts in Southeast Asia were escalating, the audience could have easily related to Kirk's philosophy. He wasn't a pacifist by any means, but he trusted his instincts and avoided killing when he could. His reward was that the all-powerful Metrons paid him the compliment. We feel like there may be hope for your kind. Therefore, you will not be destroyed.
You have shown the advanced philosophy of mercy.
Yes, so they won't destroy the Enterprise. And they even offer to kill the Gorn for Kirk, but he says that's not necessary. We can talk, maybe reach an agreement. And
sounds like something Picard would do, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I didn't mean to be so aggressive there.
Yeah, and the Metrons say, very good, Captain. There is hope for you. Perhaps in several thousand years, your people and mine shall meet to reach an agreement. You're still half savage, but there's hope. We will contact you when we are ready.
And I never looked it up, but when we were talking about it, so there is a book of short stories, and it has Sisko going and meeting with the Metrons. He goes on like an expedition to go, and he does, and the Metrons are like, no, not yet. No, we don't want to talk to you. No.
And at this point, he was already
he was still a commander at this point. This was written during Deep Space Nine, so he hadn't ascended to being a
exactly. That's when I would have wanted him to meet the Metrons.
And if that would have been that's something that would be really cool to see.
And so then Kirk goes back to his ship. Is sent back. Everybody's just hanging out, and Kirk appears.
There was a great, and it was on Twitter or something ages ago, but it put original series episodes into widescreen. So they letterboxed it, and this is one of the shots that they did. And I think it's the shot that is on the back of the VHS of Arena. And this is one of my favorite, like, just images of Star Trek, is just seeing the crew. Kirk's just arrived back on the ship. You got everybody there from the first season, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, except
Chapel.
Chapel.
Nice shot. I agree.
Mm-hmm. It looks great.
You even get Captain Pike at navigation.
Yeah. And the Enterprise is thrown further out across the galaxy. Sulu is just sent back, is told to go back to Cestus 3.
Yeah.
Of course, to go get the medical professionals and whoever they might have found.
Yes. I like Kirk. I like Kirk in this, and he's just like, it doesn't matter, Sulu. Just get us back.
Mhm.
I wanted to mention something also. In his final speech, the Metron informs Kirk that because he demonstrated mercy, he will not be destroyed.
That's right.
Initially, they said they planned to destroy the loser in the interest of peace. In Gene L. Kuhn's script, in dialogue not aired, the Metron admits that they had all along planned to actually destroy the ship of the winner of the personal combat, because
Oh,
that race would have presented a greater danger to them.
Oh, wow. They never say that in this episode.
Right. James Blish preserves this disclosure in his novelization in Star Trek II.
That would have made the Metrons less godlike because they'd be afraid of a mortal species. Why would they be afraid of just
Well, would that mean they're personally afraid, or they just don't want them causing problems throughout the universe, or whatever?
Oh, okay. Okay, that's a good point. Maybe
and you
that
can
would be it.
like, why did Q say that humanity must turn back in Encountered Farpoint? Were they afraid of something or what?
They actually, I think at one point they do admit that the Q are kind of afraid of the potentiality of humanity.
I did want to say hi to Tony Stark in the chat.
Hello, Tony Stark. Yes, I haven't been back to the chat because I'm almost done through
We're
the
almost
episode.
done,
I'm
and
just
we're
like
gonna get
2
to the
seconds
chat.
away,
Yep.
and then I'll be back.
Even
in the chat.
McCoy is leaving.
Yeah, McCoy, why you been standing over by that door for 10 minutes?
I am waiting. Who's been holding up the damn elevator?
Right. The door's stuck.
And so Spock is curious about what happened, but Kirk's very cryptic about it, saying, that we're a most promising species. And maybe in 1,000 years we can prove it.
Quite a
And
long
that's-
time.
Yeah.
And then Kirk says, well, at least we do have some time.
Yeah, that gives us some time.
Well, and I think that I don't know, maybe I'm giving the Metrons a little bit too much credit, but I do appreciate the fact that there is, like, this is one of those episodes that says that humanity, like, this is what we aspire to be in Star Trek. Like, this is what we're going to the cosmos. We're putting petty differences aside. There's no want or whatever on Earth. Like, we've come together as a society to explore the stars, but there's always room for improvement. Like, let's seek out new life and new civilizations. And there's a mission statement with this show that the future is there's still a future in the future.
Yes, and part of Star Trek is recognizing when you've made a mistake and learning from it.
Mm-hmm.
And changing from it. Becoming inspired to be a better person. And I think I want to do the reviews first and then get to the chat.
Okay.
So I give this episode an A+, if I can. 2 more pluses to that. A+. So that means
I was going to say that too,
110.
darn it.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So in this episode and last episode, the crew did have to deal with godlike aliens, but this time it's not a child godlike alien, but more of the very police force that Kirk says the Enterprise are. They're going when they're going against the Gorn, who have taken out the Earth outpost. But as it turns out, the outpost was constructed in Gorn space, so the Gorn themselves can also claim that they were just policing their own territory against Earth invaders. And that's kind of where Star Trek shines here, is where there's no cut and dry villain here. When you take away the problem from anyone else's angle and see it from their point of view, the Gorn may look and sound like monsters, but they're obviously spacefaring and comparably intelligent to humans, though much about them is never really revealed. I would love to learn more about the Gorn, except all we know is that they're pretty clever at making traps. And this episode makes it to my top 10 or even top 5 Star Trek episodes every time. I love it so much because Kirk starts the episode ready to protect the Federation against a perceived threat based on what he knows. And I love it for the fact of Kirk's reactions to the situation and how they change once he learns about Gorn's territory and everything, and chooses to respect life and not kill. when it's not necessary, and reconciliation has a chance. We don't ever get to see this reconciliation, but of course my favorite episodes always have things that I want more of in it. And if anyone ever needs an episode to explain what Star Trek is, this is one of the great ones to look forward to look towards.
Yeah. I'm the only thing I would add on to what you just said is that it is action, adventure, it is thought provoking, it is world building, and you get a sense of the characters working together. Like, this is one of those episodes that just okay, now it's Star Trek. How many episodes have we watched?
Well, this is 19, including the cage.
Right. And so this is the one where I'm just like, okay, all cylinders. This is absolutely, and there have been good episodes before this, but this is the one. And there's something about, like, this can be sort of put up against Balance of Terror, but there's something about having the outdoor fight on location. Vasquez Rocks, obviously we've gone on about it. The location, the side characters, like this is almost 3 episodes in one episode. You get the attack on Cestus 3, you get the pursuit of the Gorn ship, and then you get the battle to the death. And then at the very end, you get the Metron saying, oh, you're merciful. Humanity has hope. Like, this is everything that Star Trek is for me. Too much?
I think
No, perfect. Agreed.
no, yeah, I think it's great. I'm going to say 8 and 10 pluses. All right, there. And
there you go.
this was the first color episode to be broadcast on the BBC.
Ooh.
So they were all black and white at this point. So I'm sure there's probably a lot of British fans out there that consider this one of their favorites as well. And obviously, I'm a big fan because of Vasquez Rocks, and there's a lot of history. Every scene, as I'm watching this, I know exactly where they shot it and what angle they were standing at. And I could tell which locations were reused, where they just remodified the background. So it's fascinating, and I'm really excited, looking forward to the further episodes we'll be watching that are covered around Vasquez Rocks. I think,
careful what you wish for.
I think that it's fascinating because Wah Chang did not have much time to put that costume together, but it has now become an icon.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would say one of my favorite, obviously I would say top 3 episodes of Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's a good number. You're welcome. Thank you for being here and sharing everything that you know about this episode.
Glad to do it. So glad to do it. And I will get my videos posted eventually of Vasquez Rocks.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
I got drowned out. I got to mute the as I was climbing the mountain. I'll get the music.
Or you could just add like to the end of each one, so it sounds like it's a POV of the Gorn.
Right.
Oh yeah, add some hisses to it.
Add some hisses. That's the Gorn chasing after me, right?
There you go. You fixed it. That's wonderful. And so now I think I can get back to the chat. I think we all agree. Also, I can share the chat over here. Where is it?
Where is this button?
There it is.
Hooray!
And so we have a poll of our own here with 33 votes. 88% give it an A. Probably all A pluses.
10 pluses.
I don't know. But then
I can accept a B- to a B+. That's fine.
Yeah, me too.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But also, thanks, Gorilla, for showing up.
And then we got one who gives it an F. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Gorilla. And Cardinalson says at first Captain Kirk tries the straight offensive mode and then realizes he can't win that way and has to change his thinking.
Well, and and say what you will about Enterprise, but I do appreciate that if there's one thing that spills over into the original series, it is that, like, humans still have a little bit of bias against the Vulcans, but some humans are like, you know what, I'm going to start incorporating a little bit of this logic into my humanity. And I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And I think Pop Culture Curator wants to share with us the advertisement that has Gorn in it.
Right.
Well, and this is an epic crossover in 3 ways, but I'll let Pop Culture go first.
Yeah, this is just. I'll show this. I'm not gonna show the whole thing complete because I don't want Jill to get flagged. So I will show it just a few seconds at a time, and then I'll stop it. I also have. I believe the audio should be muted, hopefully. But this is for the 2013 Star Trek game. William Shatner filmed a promo with him and the Gorn.
Yes. They start fighting. It's so funny.
Now it's me stopping it, everybody. So this
Yeah,
doesn't
for
get
sure.
flagged.
All
And
right,
as
we're
long,
doing
as
this.
long as we're talking over it, right? Make our own sound. Ah! You can imagine the Star Trek music, TOS music. There's that double fist. So, there we go again.
We're getting too old for this.
Right.
But
And of
this,
course, we're not done with that.
But yeah, of course not. He's got to pick up a bigger boat.
Even the Gorns winded.
You know what? Kirk should have thrown a small pillow at him, and then the Gorn should have picked up the cushion.
Yeah, the big pillow, right.
Does he do the ear thing? He's got to do the ear thing. Oh my God, that's almost perfect. There it
There
goes.
it is.
Yes, this was for.
This is like a car commercial, right? Or something?
No, this is for
video
the
game.
video game.
Oh,
for,
a video game.
For
Okay.
Star Trek
2013.
2009 with the voices of Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto. You played in co-op, and you do fight the Gorn in that game as well.
Very cool. Hopefully that won't get us stricken. I hope.
No,
It
that
was
won't.
not
There was
well
no
reviewed.
sound.
It was not well
It
reviewed.
was
as a game.
perfect.
No, but the video was great.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could have played the sound because it was actually funny to listen to as well.
Yeah. So everybody go watch that commercial later because that is funny. That is funny watching.
Don't bother with the game. It's a third-person shooter.
Oh, and
It's not as good as the commercial, of course.
Mr. Brown Alliance left 30 minutes ago, but I still want to say, see you later, Mr. Brown Alliance. Bye.
See you, Mr.
Have a
Brown.
great day.
Thanks for being here, bud.
Yeah, very cool.
Oh no, I missed where I was.
No, I know. I was trying to figure out where you were too.
Mm-hmm.
I got lost.
I got lost too. There's so many chats.
Absolutely smashing.
Everything's going according to plan. Do not worry.
Cavatino Cavalryman says at some point there was a Spaceballs moment, but I don't know what that was.
We ain't found shit.
Admiral Teague says to Cardinal Sin, do you mean you love the zombie solution or my gunpowder thought? Cardinal Sin, I'm a doctor, not a pathologist. Oh man, that joke doesn't work if you don't know what the nada is. Herpetologist. Herpetologist.
Yes.
Admiral Teague says, I was talking about your zombie solution, but that too. Snortapoopa says, our game master in Star Trek role-playing games did a pretty good follow-up to Arena, taking place right after the Dominion War.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
That is
cool.
cool.
Where were the Gorn during the Dominion War?
I don't know.
Admiral
Oh my
Teague
God, I
says,
would love to see a Gorn versus a Jem'Hadar. That would be epic.
Right? No, the Jem'Hadar would want that even more than you.
Oh yeah.
Admiral Teague says William Shatner imbues some real weight into the foam boulders he lifts. He sells the idea that it's heavy.
Absolutely.
Was this the first usage of simulcasting on TV? Oh, where the crew is watching Kirk.
Yeah.
It's like reality TV, but Metron style.
Survivor. Metrons.
Admiral Teague says the way he lifts the rocks is perfectly proportionate to its size.
But did they do the same thing in the menagerie? Remember, they were able to view what was going on on Pike's ship, and Kirk said, they asked, "How are they doing this?"
I thought I had said that before.
True.
Yeah, that's
true. So this is the second reality TV.
Yeah,
right.
I thought
Good
we had
point.
covered. Yes, sir. JD Lewis says the Mego Star Trek Gorn figure was the Mego Spider-Man lizard figure dressed in the Mego Star Trek Klingon uniform. That makes sense.
Quite a crossover.
Does that make sense? I'll
Well,
trust
no.
you.
The best way would be like, imagine if you put the Planet of the Apes Mego uniform on the Spider-Man lizard, you would get the Gorn from Star Trek.
Oh, okay. How to make your own Gorn.
Yes, you still all need Mego products, though.
Oh, I think he's saying that Mego used the same figure for the Gorn and for the lizard.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. And Matt G posts my tip link. He says, stop payment on that alimony check and send the money to Jill. What? No, that's probably not a good idea. Oh my god.
That's what I did.
Positive Candor is here. Hi. And
Hey,
he
Positive.
hisses like a Gorn.
I have heard every word you have said.
Nice.
I grow weary of the chase. Oh man, no, don't. I can't. It's a bad Gorn impression. I'm sorry to everyone in the chat.
No, but it's better than the one I can do. But if
All
you
right.
do, if you like Gorn impressions, definitely head over to Clobber Times chats. You can ask him to do Gorn every once in a while. He'll do it, and he does a great Gorn impression.
Sweet.
I don't know how
I
much
should-
it messes his throat up, but he's awesome at it.
He's a modern day Ted Cassidy, that boy. I meant that complimentarily.
Oh yes, I believe you.
Thank you.
Startapupus says the Gorn is more reliant on his superior strength. Please, Scotty.
Gorn crush, puny human. I don't even know. Like, it's just generic monster sounds that I'm making.
It's fine. I like it. Look, you earned 4 more listeners just by doing that.
Huzzah!
Admiral Teague says the Gorn has committed to the Komodo dragon's hunting style. He's going to run him down over the course of a couple days. Oh yeah, that is what Komodo dragons do, don't they? And tire out their prey.
Hey, Pod Racing Palpatine.
Yeah. He says Kirk's Diamond Cannon was the name of my high school band. Oh, neat. That's a good name for a band.
It is.
Gorn reminded me of the Slee Stack from the Land of the Lost.
Similar.
Oh,
Slow.
no. Slow versus fast Gorn. Which one are the real Gorn? I prefer slow Gorn. I'm a slow Gorn guy.
Me too. And Cardinal Sin said he loved it. It loved
Land of the Lost.
Land of the Lost. Show run and written by David Gerald. Oh, David Gerald. Yeah, I should go watch
Right.
that.
The sleeve stacks would talk with a hissing.
You sold me on it when you said David Gerald. Positive Candor said, let me know when you do a show on Land of the Lost, Cardinalson. And the Spock moment is really good. All the Spock moments are really good. Even if it's all expositionary dialogue. Yes, he was just commentating, but his commentary was amazing because Spock basically spends this episode admiring the intelligence of the Gorn and of his captain.
Well, he's doing that also because he explained to the audience what's going on, for those of them that didn't realize.
Yes, and that was the great benefit of that. Admiral Teague says that McCoy says, "What the devil is Jim doing?" And Spock says, "I ain't spoiling this for the people who paid attention, Doctor." And Anonymous just tipped $2.
Wow.
Thanks, Anonymous.
And he says, I have donated twice as much as Matt G today.
Yep.
Are we at like $30? Around there, I think. Thank you so much
29.
for supporting. Like, Jill, you deserve all of the accolades. Thank you for having this all put together so we can talk about it. I love talking about Star Trek with you.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I appreciate that other people appreciate it as well.
yes, and I appreciate everyone in the chat, and that's why we're going through what I can before I gotta go.
You
So
do.
I got about 20 minutes. Or
Right.
until whenever my phone goes crazy. I'll wait till then. Positive Candor says, unfortunately, this was a very gorny episode.
Yes.
Okay.
Fortunately for some of us.
Fortunately, Starfleet uniforms are flammable.
Snortopoopas, I saw that when it popped up in the chat, and I was like, yeah, now that you mention it, shouldn't they be flame retardant?
Shouldn't they? Aren't they? That's a good question.
You would think.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And yeah, I really do think.
Someone
Cardinal
needs to
Sin
think.
says the charcoal is pretty large. Yes.
And yeah, no, Kirk is very good at grinding all of these materials.
And he has plenty of time.
Uh, and when we were saying that it was alien bamboo, Snortopoopa says it's
Right.
unobtainium bamboo.
Unobtainium bamboo. And also, Mythbusters proved that you can't just guess by eye the amount of each ingredient. It has to be exact.
They have to measure it perfectly. So it's
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
like baking than cooking.
Right. Yeah, but I give them credit. They tried. And it still made us all think, right? At least so. And it made it for a very iconic scene.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And they got the ingredients right, which is the important part. When you're watching science fiction, they do get that right.
Right.
But without it being like step by step an accurate representation, I did appreciate that he collects the materials, dumps them on the rock, then puts them in the proper proportions. Spock says, oh, if he does it properly. And then it all, it shows to the ingenuity of Kirk and whether or not it can factual be done.
I was wondering that. Did the Metron say we put the items on the asteroid, or did they just say the items that you need are on the asteroid?
They just said that there are weapons available to you if you can figure it out.
Yeah, that there are elements that you can make into weapons.
Right, but that doesn't necessarily mean they put them there. They're assuming maybe they could have already been there.
Yes. They might have put them there, or they might just be there. We don't know. But Admiral Teague says, why does Kirk think that the Metrons are any different than the people from Space Rome? They do the exact same thing.
Space Rome is kidnappers. This was an end of hostility. If anything, it would be almost like the Organians, which we have not yet met, but
oh yes, Organians. I can't wait for Errand of Mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Stark says, I'm okay getting ready for a long work shift. And about the Metrons, I guess it's getting kind of jokey here with them.
Oh. I like the Metron sexuals.
The Metron sections.
I'm wearing a sarong and I have power over other beings. Do you want to go to the Spirit Stick Pit? Anyway, I've been to a couple hippie concerts. I know what the Metrons are about.
Cardinal Sin says, I always thought it was a androgynous teenage look they were going for.
Yes. That's what I thought.
Tony Stark says, possibly Shaft, as they are upping the irons on attendance policy. What? I missed something. Shift.
A lot. Shift.
Oh,
Shift. When he's saying he's getting the shaft, he was because it's a play on words from when he missed.
Oh, when he misspelled something.
Earlier.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, great.
And a lot of companies are cracking down on attendance policy because ever since the lockdowns, and people are just calling in sick more now.
Oh, I see. Admiral Teague says they forced Kirk into a death match while his crew risk just like the Space Romans. But Kirk admires the Metrons. It's like hating reality TV, but loving Kim Kardashian.
I'm confused.
Now,
I'm confused.
I don't know.
I'm just reading the chat.
Admiral Teague, I don't know which Space Romans you're referring to.
Yeah, what Space Romans? What do you mean?
I was thinking it was Plato's stepchildren, but you could be talking bread and circuses. I don't know.
Oh, are you talking about an episode they haven't showed yet?
Yeah.
You know what you're talking? Oh, okay, that's what. Oh, because I'm sorry, I'm thinking
spoilers
of linear
for Star Trek.
I'm thinking of linear episodes before this.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm basing the experience of the crew.
I think he's talking about the Romans and gladiators that had TV channels they were watching on TV. That episode of Star Trek, maybe that's what he's talking about.
That could be it.
Matt
But then
G
if that's
says,
the case, they haven't met them yet, right? That's where they had that rogue Federation captain.
Further on, Admiral Teague says, bread and circuses, bread and circuses.
oh, there you go. That's it. Matt G says, hair savage. Wait till discovery. Oh, sorry. Matt G meant half savage. Wait till discovery. Okay, that makes more sense.
And you know what? And I do want to, it's such a contrast between this episode of Star Trek, which once again is one of those episodes that just sort of makes Star Trek Star Trek. And then you watch the first episode of Discovery and they put bombs on bodies to be beamed aboard ships that will like completely dishonorable combat with an honorable species. It's a blasphemous act.
Written by dishonorable writers.
Yeah, like Discovery in that first episode just destroys everything that Star Trek is.
That's not by coincidence.
Well, hey,
yeah, no, they
turned
do
me
it on
off.
purpose. They do it on purpose.
Turn me off. Be nice to your neighbors is what Star Trek is about. Not, you know what, we should trap these guys into thinking that they're bereaved dead, which doesn't happen in the Klingon culture.
Klingons don't do that.
They don't collect their dead.
The body is just an empty shell.
Yeah.
And
just so anyway.
The
so there you
warrior
go.
is already in Strobocore.
But and again, when people are talking about anything new, the filth, what have you, like this is the Achilles heel, this is the kryptonite, and all you have to do to dismiss anything about Discovery forward is just be like arena, and then they'll shut up.
Yeah. Admiral Teague says the grenade launcher sound was later reused for the photon torpedoes, according to Star Trek Compendium.
Yeah.
Also, Cisco says, did you know they played baseball on Cestus 3?
Yes.
In an episode of Deep Space Nine. So if that's the case, that means there are humans on Cestus 3 later on in Star Trek universe, meaning that there was some kind of peace that we didn't get to see.
Yes. And it was I'm sorry if I'm gapping out here, but yeah, it was Cassidy Yates's younger brother who lived on Cestus 3 for several years.
Sweet. That's great to know. Matt G says, oh, okay. I mean, the Discovery Channel. Let's not talk about that. Of course. Yes, I did that. I did allow you to talk a little bit about that. Admiral Teague says next. Oh, go ahead.
The next episode they're back at is Vasquez Rocks for the alternative factor. Really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's going to be.
That's my birthday episode.
Oh my God. I can't. Just so you guys know, I told Scotty that his birthday episode does not have to be the alternative factor, that we could do something else.
Something good.
Yeah, I said we could do something good, but he refused.
I want to go in order. I want to go to Vasquez Rocks for my birthday, even if it is with Lazarus.
He says he deserves.
I do. I deserve the alternative factor.
I don't know if I agree.
That's my birthday episode. You can't take it away.
I won't. You want it?
I want it. Thank you. You're a nice lady.
Captain Finity says, ooh, deleted scenes are canon. This changes everything.
I don't know.
Wait, I don't know if they are. Are they? That's a good question.
No, well, remember at the end of Nemesis, the seat belt? Like, I don't think that's canon. Well, I don't think deleted scenes are canon unless they're reincorporated in some sort of director's cut or something.
Oh, yeah. They bring it back with the director's cut. That is totally different. Then it's not a deleted scene anymore.
Right.
Maggie says the Q were afraid of the potential of the Taco Bell Nachos Bell Grande.
Yes, that is true. That is what I understand from watching many episodes of Voyager with Q in it, and they were afraid of Taco Bell.
I'm afraid of Taco Bell.
Are you?
No, I just go to actual Mexican restaurants instead.
Right. Same here. There's enough Mexican food around. I wouldn't be caught dead at Taco Bell.
I should really look up Mexican restaurants near me.
Yeah, well, we're in California and Texas where we actually do have good.
You know what's interesting too is Taco Bell is more expensive than Mexican food, which is totally out of whack.
That is weird. Well, that's because Mexican restaurants tend to have homemade meals, and so they get to cut on the cost quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly. You get much better meals too. I think maybe that's what I'll do for lunch today. I was just thinking about what should I have.
There you go. I'm glad we figured that out.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Captain Infinity says the guacamole has intergalactic potential. I don't even know what they're talking about. And Cardinal Sins says shows the best side of humanity. Yes, this
Yes.
episode does. And Captain Infinity says humanity is a stain on the galaxy.
Thank you, Harry Mudd.
Well, I was thinking he's the Gorn. I don't know. Or Harry Mudd, I guess. I don't know. Captain Infinity says the Cthulhu are indifferent to your suffering. Oh, right. He's Cthulhu then. That makes more sense.
Did we already watch the animated series one with Quetzalcoatl?
Quetzalcoatl. What is that one?
That's the Aztec god with the dragon.
Not yet. That's this season.
No, I don't think we've
So that's
gotten
coming
that.
up.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And that episode gets an Emmy.
Ooh, I can't wait to see it again.
And Starter Poop, it says humans smell funny. And thank you, Matt G, for donating $1.
Wow, racking them up.
I know, right? Now that's $30 even. Cardinal Sin says we are indifferent to the elder gods until they notice us. And James Caserta is here. Welcome to the
Hey.
stream. Just trying to survive.
At too high a cost.
Welcome, James.
A cosmic police force.
Pigs in space.
Yeah, thank you. I needed someone to do that.
Dr. Swine Pork.
And Cardinal Sin says, I still like Balance of Terror better, but it has Mark Leonard in it.
There's something about the on location aspect of it. And Cardinal, like, I'm not gonna put Balance of Terror and Arena together to fight because I don't think that it's a fair fight. I think they stand toe to toe, and I wouldn't want to see them fight. But there's something that the natural lighting of Arena makes me feel more welcomed into this episode. But Balance of Terror is also the point of it is run silent, run deep. So absolutely, I don't know. I don't want to make these two kids fight.
Yeah, Cardinal Sin says Balance of Terror better defines Trek in one episode. But next week on Star Trek.
Hardcore good.
Well, that's just
That's right. If
That
they
just
are lizard
followed
people, you're gonna
hilariously.
see some cloacas touching.
So Cavatino Cavalryman Shay says need to have Mentos during the next video. In fact, Baz gets rocks. And Gorilla says,
Oh, here
oh
we go.
sure, blame the gorilla for the F. Yeah, that's true. We don't know for sure that Gorilla voted an F. I don't think he would give Arena an F.
I do.
Well, there's
Hey,
Dalek.
Dalek.
Yeah,
No,
hi Dalek.
Gorilla, he might give it what he calls his default F at the beginning, but
Mhm.
then I think maybe we can talk him up maybe to a little better grade.
And he
Well, you
usually
have
does.
10 pluses, man.
He starts at an F and he goes up.
He does.
High expectations.
And Dalek says, oh man, I really got in here late. You're almost done. Well, yeah, I am done. I'm just hanging out. And Snort a Poop, it says the only episode Gorilla gives an A is the alternative factor.
Well, it sounds like everybody's looking forward to that episode.
Can't wait.
Right? Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Gorilla is here, but his devices aren't connected. Let's see if he can connect. There you go. Hello.
Well,
Welcome,
sure,
Gorilla.
blame me for that.
No,
You
what do
always give the Fs.
you do.
Hey,
We're
Gorilla,
waiting
good to
for
see ya.
the F.
Am I really that much of an asshole? You blame me for the only F in the whole.
No, it's just an ongoing joke at this point.
Gorilla, here's in answer to your question. Do I think that you are that big of an asshole? The answer is yes. Secondly, I think this is the first time I've seen your face, so you may be a jerk, but you are a handsome monkey.
Even though I don't have my hair combed.
No, you look great. My God, you're way more styling than I thought. I've never seen you before. You're a picture, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and you were asking where were the Gorn during the Dominion War?
Yes.
Yeah,
They showed up on the Tuesday after the treaty was signed.
Yes.
of course.
They were slow. They were carrying rocks.
Admiral Teague says if you look closely at the HD, the Gorn has generous nostril hair.
Yes, it does.
And James Caserta says Jill is going to be the Borg Queen one day. I don't know if I want to be the Borg Queen. I like being just me. I don't
Oh,
want
sure,
to
you
be a
purchased it
collective.
for Queen.
Yes.
Okay then.
Cardleson says on Enterprise, the Gorn would win, although they use the same principle.
Oh, what was that? Go back one.
Oh, which one?
The herpetologist. Here we are. Herpetologist, a reptile and amphibian specialist. Thank you, Snortopoopus.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Snortopoopus, for defining that.
I'm a
Yeah.
doctor, not a herpetologist.
Oh, which episode were you guys saying was an Emmy award winning?
Sharper than the serpent's tooth.
Yes.
But just remember, just because it's Emmy award winning doesn't mean it's good. Because Threshold won an Emmy.
For makeup.
What's
It's
Threshold?
the one an Emmy. It's an Emmy award winning episode.
Oh, Threshold. What? It is?
Yeah, it's an Emmy.
you kidding? Wow, I didn't know
No, I'm
that.
not kidding. I
That
Google
is-
it.
That is ridiculous. They didn't win for story, I bet.
No, makeup.
Makeup. Okay, that makes more sense.
Is that TNG?
Voyager.
No, Voyager.
Voyager.
Yeah, don't watch it, man. You're not gonna like it.
No,
Probably
I don't
not.
like it.
Doesn't sound like it. No.
Hey, no, watch it. Then maybe he'll enjoy Strange New Worlds better.
No.
Anything makes Strange New Worlds better. Root Canal makes Strange New Worlds better.
Cleaning my litter box makes strange.
I'm
Well,
assuming
if you
that
have
your
one of those
cat
easy
is played by
coupons, you
Anson
just gotta
Mount.
press the button. That doesn't make. That's not much to say.
Captain Infinity says this captain needs to go live on air and talk about Scotty for hours on end. I didn't know what he was going to say. I just read it. Sorry.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully he's just joking. Bunny and Snipe says if Arena was made now, Kirk would have been beaten to a pulp, then would have died on the table to be brought back by Bones in the nick of time.
Yeah, they would have taken, hey, Bunyan, and they would have taken the Gorn blood, which has, anti-death things in it. And all those bits go into Kirk, and then he
Don't
grows
forget,
a tail.
don't forget, Kirk would be an android now, wouldn't he? I mean, why not?
Yes.
Yeah, somehow.
Ugh. I don't even want to talk about it. I like the episode the way it is. Don't make it worse.
I know, right? Why is that happening? Oh, do you have something you want to share about this?
No, I was giving Sky says he already likes this episode enough. Don't make it worse for me. I said, "Oh, you want me to leave then?"
No, you're good, buddy.
Oh, hey, you're here. Hey, did you want to rate the episode and tell us what you think about it? Briefly?
Yeah.
Well, the Gorn costume was so obviously fake and stuff. Like overall, I gave it like a B-, B or B plus.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder who gave it the F then.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know.
It's okay. That's the whole reason why the poll's anonymous now. We don't have to drag everybody up and burn them.
No, I'll drag him into it because I'm the one getting blamed for it.
Oh, I take it back.
There's no
I take
blame
it
to
back.
be had. There's no blame to be had. It's all in good fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a joke.
Yeah, people are allowed to give their opinions.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
I'll just give it shit.
Hail, bird of prey.
Bird of prey.
Oh, Kapla.
Hell, Corona.
That's a good point, bird.
It depends on the person if their uniform is flammable.
It reminds me of Data Lore from the first season of Next Generation when Beverly Crusher gets shot in the arm with a phaser and her smock bursts aflame. And it's like, I don't think that should do that. That's not a thing.
Cavatino Caverman Che advises everybody, do not try making gunpowder at home.
Yes.
That is good advice.
It is.
Too late.
That's the other thing they would show these days too, probably some sort of warning.
Yeah. Do not do this at home.
Right.
Now my stream has the warning. I'm happy.
Not too late. They showed me how to do it. I already did it.
Edward King says, come on, Space Room and the Metrons have the same goal and methods. Gladiatorial combat to determine the fate of all. Okay. Herc130 says Tony Stark is a workaholic, but I don't think it is by choice.
Bread and circuses.
And Captain Infinity says anti-derivative Jill is a magnet for the best in chat. I do have the best people in my chat.
she
I don't
does,
know
yes.
how that happens. It's like magic. Tony Stark says the title is a joke where I snapped and saved the universe only for it to become shitty. Oh. Hello, Dalek. I do see you. Hope you're doing well today.
There you are.
Hi. I don't know.
Hey, isn't that
I'm sorry
Dalek?
if I missed
recognize
something.
him.
I don't know if I missed something by him or something. I don't know. But I see you now. And Jason Isaacs would have made such a great captain. Oh my God. He
if they
would
wrote him
have.
properly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's
he's
that?
a great actor and
Mhm.
he
They
was
did make him
wasted.
a captain.
Not a
In
good
Event
one.
Horizon. You want to see? Oh, come on. Watch Event Horizon.
was
Event
Captain
Horizon.
Wonka.
There you go. Captain Infinity says, green guy. Yeah, big. Looks like a pepper pot.
He's talking about Dalek. Oh, I apologize. I didn't see when Dalek came in earlier. I apologize.
Yeah, he's here.
I
Dalek.
saw.
Yeah,
I
we
said
did.
hi.
We said hi and everything, but I think we might have taken some time because we were doing our review.
Well, I'm
Dalek
used
popped
to him
in
popping in
earlier.
and telling. I'm used to him popping on the panel.
Yeah, right. He could. I put the link in there, but I do have to leave in about like 5 minutes. So,
All right.
so yeah. Thank you everybody for being here. And let me just. I still, even though I tried to read the chat, I'm still missing like 20 of them. So anyone here? Okay. Well, why would I click on that one?
I don't know.
Tony Stark says, I hope to have episode 1 of ID14 done by Thursday or Friday. Oh, okay. And he's going to have a Rick stream on Thursday, Tinkering Friday at the same time, matinee on Saturday, SSMR, and open panel on Sunday. And Captain Infinity quotes Morty. Ah, geez. And
There, you made it to the end of the chat.
well, no, I didn't.
You kind of skipped around, but good.
But only because I have to leave. I have to go. I must depart. And
Gotta get back to Cestus 3 and pick up the medical team.
Yes, I have to go back to Cessus 3 to pick up the medical team. Exactly. Thank you, Scotty. That's exactly what's happening. So, Scotty, would you please tell me about your channel and what you're doing this week?
Oh, let's see what's going on. Oh, tomorrow night, it is Happy New Year. We're going to start off a new year with a new Batman on Capes, Cowls, and Crusaders, something along those lines. And we're going to be watching Adam West and Burt Ward as Batman and Robin in Batman the Movie from 1966 tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we're back at it with Quantum Leap.
Woohoo!
Yay! And so that's what's going on in the near future over at the Fantasmagorium.
Great. And how about you, Pop Culture Curator? What do you have going?
I have my Star Trek animated series reviews on Mondays with you wonderful people. And on Tuesdays, I'll be here as usual on Jill's channel covering Star Trek TOS. On Wednesdays, I have Gilligan's Island stream with Gorilla's Random Thoughts. And I also randomly have a Rumblings from the Lab.
Oh, yeah. You never know when that's
going
to happen. So keep your eyes open for those
But
streams.
I'm usually trying to squeeze in time when there's not a bunch of other people streaming, and it's not easy. But I do my best. So they're usually on the fly. But I'll try to give people at least a 30-minute to an hour warning. But thank you, Jill, for having me here again. And good to see everybody.
Oh, yeah. Great. Thank you for being here. It's really
My pleasure. It was a blast. I love it. I love this episode.
Me too. It's one of my favorites. I think on a Clobber and Time stream, he had one of his Saturday night Star Treks that wasn't a review show. So we did our top 5 Star Trek episodes, and I think I made this number 2. I can't remember exactly, but I think so. I think it was my second, and it's
number 1
great.
being Devil in the Dark, right?
Yes, my number one is Devil in the Dark.
Gotcha.
And also, I have to find the promo for next week's episode. I'm downloading it now.
Okay.
So please tell us about your channel, Gorilla, while we head out. I need
Well,
to.
I'm offering free shoveling lessons. It's a real hands-on experience today. But tomorrow,
Shoveling snow, right?
what?
Shoveling snow, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we just
Not
had
something
15
else.
inches dumped on us.
Ooh, wow. Time to go skiing.
And my wide shovel broke. So I made it short of me cussing and swearing about that.
All that snow over there, do you guys ever do any skiing?
We need a hill first.
Cross country.
Somebody can pull you behind a car with a rope.
Oh yeah. The cops tend to frown upon that around here.
Oh, darn shucks.
But anyhow, I do Stranger Things watch party on Wednesdays. Thursdays, right as we're still doing our Walton's reviews right now. Then Saturdays Babylon 5 watch party. Sunday we're watching 1984. Then I'll get random thoughts with the girl again sometime this week.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, guys. And thank you for joining me in the chat. And also, thank you to anyone watching on the replay or anyone lurking. Y'all are really great, too.
Yeah. Thanks to the chat. Ahoy. Thank you for hanging out and talking about Star Trek. Love it.
We'll talk more Star Trek next week. And I'll post I'll play the trailer for next week.
Wait. I have a question.
Okay.
What is there going to be a tea time on Friday? And what are we talking about?
Oh, right. Okay. So for my channel, I've got tea time on Friday, and it's one of the we're celebrating Scotty's birthday early. We're talking about Superman.
I got so confused because you were like, we're going to be one of the worst. It's Scotty's birthday early. And I was like, we're discussing one of the worst? And no, we're watching Superman with Christopher Reeve.
Well, okay. No, I was mixing up Tuesday with Thursday.
Tuesday, the alternative factor is the worst.
Oh, what's wrong with the alternative factor? It's a masterpiece.
No, it is not.
Yes, on Tuesday we're going to be watching.
I give it an F,
factor.
But it's my birthday episode, so we're gonna have a fun time.
Yeah.
Oh, Scotty, so you're turning into me, huh?
Yes. Well, for the alternative factor.
But on Friday we're going to be watching a wonderful movie.
So is it a watch party on Friday, or is it?
Well, no, it's not a watch party. It'll just be for Fridays it's a little more loose, where I have a slideshow, but I don't necessarily go scene by scene. We just talk about the movie and what we like from it and stuff we know from it and things like that.
I'll be driving, but I will be there listening because I love that movie.
Yeah, me too. It's really good.
And it's as old as I am. That's why we're watching it.
Yeah, it's perfect for that too.
Anyway,
and that'll be great.
So
we'll see you next time, everybody. Thank you for stopping by to listen to us talk about Star Trek. One of the best episodes, Arena. I love it so much.
Bye, everybody. Take care.
Yeah, fun was had by all, says Herc130. And Dalek says, good news, Jill and Scotty. Right now, I've got access to a streaming service where I can watch Quantum Leap.
Nice.
Oh, that'll be great.
I'll send you a message on Twitter, Dalek.
Yeah, and you can join us on the stream
on Thursday. Yeah,
on Thursday,
first of the new year.
Yeah. So
cool. All right, thanks for playing, everybody.
Yes,
we'll
see you next time.
Absolutely
Bye-bye.
smashing.
Absolutely smashing.
Thank you.
Captain's log, stardate 3087.6. Investigating an uncharted planet, we've encountered a badly injured human being.
You came! Thank the heavens! We can still stop him!
I want facts. The entire magnetic field in this solar system simply blinked. What you're describing is non-existence.
I tell you, we're dealing with a creature capable of destroying worlds. Are you deaf as well as blind? Run! It'll do you no good.
Captain!
I'll chase you into the very fires of hell!
He must be stopped, held, destroyed if necessary.
Do you know what you're saying?
Total, complete, absolute annihilation.